Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent Breed is people!
Yo, Adrian! Adrian!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Welcome back to Casino Royale with Cheese. This is the show where we discuss movies that came out exactly 20 years ago. Today I have with me my esteemed colleague, the man who me and him are like peas and carrots. This is Mike.
What's up, Shane?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
Dude, I'm pumped. We just finished watching a great movie, and it's our 10th episode, and to mark the occasion, we have a special guest, our boy, Jason Cook. What's up, brother?
Hey man, how y'all doing?
Good.
Good old Saturday movie day.
Yeah,
like
just
it.
chilling, relaxing. That's it. So Jason here is our resident. I think he actually has a PhD in fucking Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from University of Phoenix, is that that online degree?
You got them socks?
So yeah, Forrest Gump. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Me and Mike had talked about, because usually we pick the movies we want to watch, and then so Forrest Gump came out more than 20 years ago. We thought this one was right for the picking.
Yeah, well, we're in that final week of the Titanic,
Yeah.
Titanically busting the box office. So this was our last free shot before we were forced to watch the movies that were number one.
Mm-hmm. It is. So yeah, this is you guys are witnessing internet history as we break through that double-digit glass ceiling.
Come in with the guest star. Nice.
Yeah,
so we
that's the way to do it.
So we decided to do Forrest Gump because the first time we talked about this podcast getting ready to happen, you said if you guys ever talk about Forrest Gump,
Absolutely.
you gotta have me in there. So
Absolutely.
tell us about what your experience with Forrest Gump is.
Man.
You've seen it once or twice, right?
Yeah, I did some math on it earlier. It was come to the tune of 302 times, no less. Probably more than that.
Pretty confident though, at least
Yeah.
302 times.
Well, in the summer of '95, I owned 2 VHSs, and one of them was Forrest Gump, and I watched it every day, twice a day, the entire summer from the time it went out. We got the VHS in April of '95, and fucking yeah.
Just on repeat after that.
Yeah, man. I think it was 11 or 12.
What was the
12
other
years old.
VHS?
Yes, they stopped to rewind.
It was a recorded VHS that I'd stole from my stepdad, and it was oil wrestling. Bikini oil wrestling.
And here you are watching Forrest Gump.
Yeah. But,
You watched more Forrest Gump than bikini oil wrestling?
Yeah, it was weird, man.
Dude, your
I don't know
priorities
why.
are out of whack.
I was a young kid at the time, and it struck a chord with me. The whole movie did. I don't know. It was one of those coming of age movies, I guess.
Mhm.
And I don't know, something about it. The first time I watched it, I was like, man, I love this. And then since that summer, I've seen it no less than 5 times a year.
Really?
They air it on there.
That's awesome.
On TV. Every time it comes on cable, I have it on there. So it's just something I've always enjoyed.
This is one of those movies where if it ever, me and the wife are just sitting around looking for something to watch, and we're out of shows, everything's off season, and oh look, Forrest Gump's on Netflix. Let's just watch Forrest Gump all week, So yeah.
And it's one of those movies too that even holds up if it's on TBS or TNT.
Oh yeah.
And you click into it 30 minutes into the movie, and you're like, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and keep this on.
Sure.
It moves in chapters, so it's not something you're watching.
You're not lost on it at any
Yeah,
point if you come
if
in.
you've
in
seen
the
it
middle of
once,
it.
you're
Yeah,
good
yeah.
picking it up. Yeah.
What about when did you remember first?
Yeah, I was visiting my uncle because once again, sheltered childhood. And so I don't think my parents felt strongly about me not watching Forrest Gump, but they weren't proactively pursuing the option of watching it. And so we went down to my uncle's house, and he was always watching the cool movies, like Dumb and Dumber and stuff like that. It's kind of a no-go. And so we went down and we were watching Forrest Gump. My folks were like, "That's pretty good," And so I want to say I've seen this movie 4 or 5 times. I haven't watched it nearly as much as you. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's like not even a time a year.
Yeah, you got to pump up those numbers. Those are rookie
Yeah,
numbers.
one time a year minimum.
Yeah. How about you, Mike?
I don't really remember the first time I saw it, but I do
Yeah.
remember the first time I saw it thinking, like, this might be the best movie ever made.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I feel that it's in comparison to a couple others of my lifelong favorites, but it's definitely to me one of the best.
It's such a good fucking story, though.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's so fantastical about the way they do everything. It's just great.
It is. It has its storybook qualities to it.
Yeah.
You said that this was... Maybe you said there's only 2 other movies you would consider better than this.
Yeah,
Cook.
and they're not even better in the sense of the story. Just I'll just go ahead and say them, like The Goonies and Stand By Me, and that was just because I was a young boy watching a movie about young boys doing young boy stuff.
But those are
and
2
adventures.
badass movies.
Stand By Me,
I,
most definitely,
I
I can see
related
that.
to them growing up. You know,
Yeah.
those are the only 2 movies that I would put above Forrest Gump as far as like
Yeah.
my life.
The ones that, like,
favorites.
stick
Yeah.
with you.
Mhm.
Right on.
Yep.
Wait, quiz time?
Oh, you know I love this time. This time. And now I got 2 people to play with. All right. So...
We're going to play this like The Price is Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you'll go, then I'll go, and whoever's closest without going over wins.
Yeah.
We got 2 categories, right?
All you get is bragging rights, like notoriety.
man.
So,
I was totally right about that. I've never looked up the numbers. on
I
this.
don't on
looked up the
purpose
numbers.
because I know he's going to do this, so I avoid the numbers, but...
Okay, so real quick, do you guys want to guess the box office take or the number of weeks? It
Well,
was number 1.
let's do both first, or both, but first let's do numbers at number
Well, we're
1.
gonna do both.
Oh.
But you want to guess how many weeks?
Yeah, weeks
Okay.
at number 1 first.
What is it?
I would say 10. I would say a good 10 weeks.
10?
Number 1. Was that little over two and a
I'm
half
a-
months?
That's
find
2.5
out.
months. I'm going to say 9 weeks.
You can't do like
play
1
Price
week.
is Right.
Like, yeah, 1 week.
$201.
Yeah.
You guys are way off. It brought in, or it did 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
We both overshot
A
it.
little bit.
That's
Little
weird.
bit. That's all right.
That's
you
weird
doubled
that a
it.
Tom Hanks movie in 1994, when it released, wouldn't have stayed in the box office.
You've got to
number
keep
one
in
a long time.
mind, though, up until that point, this dude had done like Sleepless in Seattle. He did Big. He did like Joe versus the Volcano and The Burbs.
Splash?
He did Splash. Yeah.
I think
But-
was Castaway before this?
No.
Castaway was
No,
after
that was
this.
in 2000.
Oh, wow.
And so the thing about it is, like, you got to remember, like, he wasn't a box office draw, like he is.
Yeah.
Well, like he was, like early 2000s. Like,
Yeah.
but I think he's kind of slid off a little bit since then. But this movie was made on a budget of $55 million.
They spent every penny of that well.
Yeah,
They did.
There was nothing went to waste. Any guesses as to the total box office return on
I'm gonna say triple that.
150 million?
Yeah.
100, wait, triple.
that?
What?
We're talking
Are you talking
domestically,
about
just
1
in the
week?
U.S.
One?
No, the total box
the total
office that it brought
box
in.
office that it brought in.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. Easy. Yeah, 150 million. More than that.
I'm going to say 200 million.
Well, Mike would have won Price is Right style. It actually brought in $329,694,000.
Good return on investment.
Yeah, for $55 million, shoot.
Yeah.
I'll make that deal. You can't beat that. I guess there's some trivia stuff that I looked up
Okay.
on the interweb. First off, one of the most interesting things I find about this movie is that they actually started pre-production work back in 1997 on a sequel to Forrest Gump called Gump and Company.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like, I guess, like, 9/11 happened, and for whatever reason that affected that whole thing.
They didn't come out.
And
Do you know what the premise was?
I think it was a book.
Yes, I do.
It was a book as
yeah.
well.
The
Like,
author wrote the sequel.
Forrest Gump was a book, and then Gump and Company actually was published as
It was
a
a
book.
follow-up to it. And apparently people said it's really good. Like Larry King said that it was like one of the funniest books he ever read. But I guess so. It's still technically in production, but it's like in production hell. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this thing never sees a light of day. In fact, Tom Hanks has even
I don't
said,
know,
he's like,
man.
I'm never going to...
The way Hollywood reaches nowadays, I wouldn't.
That is true.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Whether they
if
do a
like,
sequel or a
reach into
remake
it.
or like a shared universe.
probably a 20 years later, Jenny's headstone's all
Like her ghost comes back and shit. And, yeah.
What the fuck?
That's how bad Hollywood's getting.
Yeah, man.
They're running out of ideas. They got to reach to the past.
Or like
for
Forrest
something.
Jr. falls in love with
There
like
it
a
is.
slow girl, you know, or something
Yeah.
like that.
I heard Haley Joel Osment is looking for work, Art.
Yeah, I actually watched a movie of his recently, and he looks like a potato, bro.
Oh, he ballooned up?
Yeah, he's big.
Oh.
The I Smell Dead People kid.
Yeah, I smell dead people.
I see
Everybody
dead
smells dead people.
Yeah, I see dead people. I see dead people kid.
Leave them there long enough, you'll be smelling them.
Smell dead people.
So here, check this out. This is the premise, okay? So in 1980, the shrimp market has exploded and Forrest cannot keep up with demand. Adding to Forrest's troubles, Lieutenant Dan sells off his share of Bubba Gump Shrimp Company in order to fund a swanky retirement, and the company endures labor disagreements. Forrest comes to the docks one morning to find unoccupied trawlers and is met by no one save for Bubba's father, who sadly reports to Forrest that, "I'm afraid to say you've been ruined." To make ends meet, Forrest takes a job as a janitor in a strip club in New Orleans. By chance, one of the club's best customers is a rough football player for the New Orleans Saints known as Snake, who used to play football for the University of Alabama. Snake fears for his career as the Saints are having a horrible season and recruits Forrest for the Saints. Forrest is unsure of playing in the NFL, citing how the players are much bigger in college and how with all that gear you look like something or other. I pretty much stopped reading from there. It doesn't sound very interesting to me.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
I'm not either.
Forrest Gump is a good movie.
Yeah.
If you follow it up, you screw it up.
Yeah.
You know? So that's just my take on it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There's some things better left untouched.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's see here. So this had a handful of people in it. For a cast that seems as broad and like as much in the spotlight as Forrest is, the cast seems bigger than it is, to me anyway, but it's really not. It was starring, of course, Tom Hanks, who won his first Oscar, I believe, for this role. He might have won one for Philadelphia, I'm not sure. But I know he won one for this. I don't know if it was his
I think he
first
did win one for Philadelphia.
Yeah. Robin Wright, who you might remember as having the name Robin Wright Penn, because I guess she was married to Sean Penn for a handful of years.
That's Jenny.
Yeah, that's Jenny. Gary Sinise, Sally
like
Field
Dan?
plays Mama.
Mama.
Yeah. And we've got Mike
She's a
Kelty.
good actor. I've always liked
I
Sally.
like Smokey and the Bandit with her in it. It's good stuff. We've got Mykelti Williamson, who played Bubba.
I love seeing him in movies like after Forrest Gump. Like, there's Bubba, and his lips all fixed, and his gums aren't as big. Like, I'm just so
Doesn't
happy to
talk
see.
super slow.
Yeah, I'm
He
happy
said it
to
was
see
really
him
hard
do-
to get parts after
Yeah.
Forrest Gump because he was so typecasted.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him in different movies. So now, even now, when I see him, like, oh look, Bubba's still working.
His old lip didn't get caught in that tripwire.
It didn't at all.
This is directed by Robert Zemeckis, who you probably may not be familiar with the name, but he directed Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Romancing the Stone. He's done a ton of stuff since then, like The Polar Express and that Beowulf thing that nobody watched.
I watched it.
Oh, did you?
Mhm.
Was it a piece of shit, like everybody said?
It was really weird because it's like real people, but they like digital overlay CGI on top of the real people.
Yeah, like that motion capture thing.
Yeah, it was pretty strange.
Yeah. And Zemeckis has always kind of been like one of the guys that's been like the front runner trying to push like visual effects. I think that he kind of prioritizes that over movies sometimes. But, you know, it is what it is. He did Castaway as well. It was a musical score by Alan Silvestri, who had rolled around in Hollywood for years and years. He did The Abyss, the music for it. He did The Predator and Predator 2.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And he's done, of course, pretty much all the Zemeckis stuff, the Back to the Future and the Who Framed Roger Rabbit and all that shit. So
I know how these scores get you off, and this one had to get the wrinkles out of the penis on this one.
check my pants right now.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite soundtracks. I think that you could buy this soundtrack on CD and run it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, I mean, all the songs are badass.
It works out. It works without the movie to go with it. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I guess that's gonna be it from my corner.
Yeah, let's jump in.
All right, we'll see y'all next. No, I'm just messing with you.
Walk us into the universe known as Forrest Gump.
You want me to?
Yeah.
All right. Movie intros where we see a feather just blowing around whimsically, and it's getting tossed around pretty good in the wind. There's cars that are driving by it and stuff, getting blown around. Lands on Forrest's shoe. We see Forrest Gump. He's this dude in a suit, and he's sitting on a bus bench.
Yeah, he's wearing what kind of material is that?
Like a seersucker looking type.
No, it's not seersucker. I can't remember. Linen. It's like a linen suit.
Like a linen suit.
Yeah, and he's got some old jacked up, beat up Nike Cortezes on.
Nike.
The shoes are looking rough.
Dirty as hell.
Yeah.
I've actually sat on that bench.
Have you?
I actually drove to Savannah, Georgia to sit on that bench.
All right, let's go. Cooks.
I mean,
well, I guess
I was going
I'm kind of
to-
tired. I'll go home now.
I was going to Gainesville, Florida, and Savannah isn't like on the way to Gainesville, but it wasn't out of the way to Gainesville.
Yeah.
Right. Not too much out of the way.
Yeah. So we went, and there's a beach over there in Savannah.
Right.
Savannah's
It's a-
beautiful.
It's a fort something or another. The beach. There's some fort over there. We went out there too, but the whole reason for going to
Was it
Savannah
Fort
was
Gordon?
It may have been.
To get the full effect, you should have ran out there, bro.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Well, his running days were through at that point.
That's
Surely
true.
he took a bus over. But his shoes were still there.
Yeah, he was wearing like the same
Yeah.
shoes I think he ran across
Well,
America.
I think they had sentimental value.
Yeah, I never took them off.
Well, he was going to go see his girl.
Yeah.
We see this woman. She's this nurse that's sitting on the other end of the bench, and he introduces himself. This is one of the deals where you run into a lot of this, is especially if you're like in middle school when this movie came out, like I was. Like everybody parodies the crap out of this, and you really can't watch it and take it seriously. You know, not think about that stuff. You know. But yeah, he introduced himself, Forrest Gump, and all that, and he comments on her shoes, on how they look comfortable, and she says that
My
her
feet hurt.
My feet hurt. so rude.
Yeah, she
So
is not interested.
She doesn't want to
anything
talk
he's
to him
saying.
at all.
Yeah.
She's like listening, but she doesn't want to be listening. But there's no one else talking.
She's
Right.
reading her magazine.
Yeah,
or
Right,
whatever.
it's
She's
kinda
trying
like
to ignore him,
the dude
but-
on the airplane that the other
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
talking to him, and he's like reading the vomit bag so that he doesn't have to pay attention to this
Yeah,
dude. You know.
that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
He offers her some chocolate.
Mm-hmm. He does.
That's when
Nobody ever wants any of this chocolate.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
would
odd.
snack down on some of that. Although, I don't know, man. Laced with something, who knows?
But that's where we get the famous phrase, Mama said life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
I found out throughout this film, man, there are so many of these quotes in this movie that I used for years.
Yeah, yeah. I live by them.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Moral compass. Moral compass. Is what
right.
It is. There's
I
a
like
lot
it.
of moral compass.
The life is like a box of chocolate, though, didn't make any sense to me as a kid because my chocolate came with
Yeah.
a map that told you what each flavor was on
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. You're
Yeah.
right.
So I was really
You knew exactly what
Slip
you were
the
gonna
lid
get.
up, and there's the thing. Yeah, it's telling you what everything is. Man, imagine being that's like prehistoric era, blindly eating chocolate. I
not
can't
have a
imagine.
damn orange
First
nougat in
world
this
problems.
These damn millennials these days got it made. I'll tell you. He keeps on about these stupid shoes, and he says that mom always used to tell him that you can tell a lot about a person by their shoes. And so then he cuts back to trying to remember his first pair of shoes. And they're these big, clunky braces
Yeah.
that he had to wear around. 'cause he
The
had this
Ronald
crick in his-
McDonald clown shoes.
Yeah.
That's what they were.
Look like it, dude.
Yeah, he's got scoliosis, so
Yeah.
he's got medical braces on his legs to straighten them up.
Yeah. The doctor said that his back was as crooked as a politician, which I find funny.
What I find even funnier than that is this doctor is smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Even more so than, so he's smoking a cigarette in the doctor's office,
Yeah,
which is a
yeah.
no-go nowadays. But looking back at it, and we talked about this a little bit, was it last week? Where in like PG-13 movies, you can't really show people huffing down a cigarette nowadays.
Unless it's a period piece, I guess.
But even then, I don't know that you can cut it these days.
This doctor he's blazing in the doctor's office.
Well, this was, 19 years ago too,
Oh, you're saying today?
Yeah, today you can't do
I
that
got you.
at all. Like show it in like a PG-13 movie. It's got to be like a Quentin Tarantino or something.
Yeah.
So he starts talking to that woman about his past.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about his uncle.
Yeah. Well, he says that he was named after what was it, Nathan Bedford Forrest?
Yeah.
Is that the uncle you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking to the African American lady about his Ku Klux Klan uncle.
He opens up with like he was a war hero in Civil War.
Yeah,
And also started a club
He
where
has
they put on
the first club of this.
Dress up like ghosts. And
Go
all
around
that shit.
scaring people and something.
even put sheets on their horses.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. We find
That
out
is a
that
conversation killer.
Yeah. That shows you his naivety like right away in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let you know he's not right right then.
which is part of the great thing about this character is he just kind of takes everything at like face value in this movie. Yeah, and there is a lot of naivete. It's like he has I don't want to say the intellect, but the perceptiveness of like a child.
Well, they say just a couple scenes later he's got an IQ 75. He's not even
Right.
able to get into public schools.
He's pretty dim-witted. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Greenbow, Alabama.
Yep.
Greenbow.
Not a real place, by the way.
I was not.
Greensboro, Alabama is, but not Greenbow.
Yeah.
Greenbow is.
I had a soldier that worked for me. He's from Alabama, and I'd always be like, "You need to go back to Greenbow, Alabama." And his retort to me would always be, "There's no such thing as Greenbow, Alabama, Sergeant." Okay.
I never knew there was no Greenbow. I'm surprised, amazed. I never looked it
I
up.
bet you there is now.
You think?
Probably.
I bet you like a little town
They put a
popped up
stupid sign
just
out
to-
front,
just
"Home
to
of Forrest
put,
Gump."
Tourist
Yeah.
stop, you know?
Yeah, why not?
Selling T-shirts. Yeah, it's Greenbow, Alabama.
You know, they make a very big town. We only see one little tiny street in his house.
Yeah. There's
all
all those
Greenbow
guys
is,
just
yeah.
chilling on the curb all the time, not doing shit.
They're in a barbershop. Nobody's
Not
ever
doing
getting
shit.
a haircut.
Yeah, just talking shit.
But yeah, so he has low IQ of 75. He's pretty. You can tell from the opening monologue that he is not sharp at all. And so he gets talking about how mom's trying to get him into school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the principal's like, no. Look,
He's too dumb.
He like breaks out an IQ chart, says your dude falls just below this line.
Right, you gotta have 80. He's at 75.
And
Yeah.
she's like, surely there's something we could do. And then that's where he alludes to the next scene where he says, is there a Mr. Gump?
Right.
No,
So-
I mean, you got to back up to the best part about the whole scene leading up to it is like she's preaching to Forrest that you're no different than anybody else. You're no different than anybody else,
Yeah.
Forrest. You can do whatever you want to do. Cut scene. Your boy's different.
Right.
Mr.
Oh,
Gump,
yeah.
Your boy's different.
Your
yeah.
boy's different. Oh,
Good
man.
stuff.
He's totally not.
Oh,
not
yeah.
right.
So mom basically bangs her way for Forrest
Oh,
into
yeah.
school. Yeah.
It's so funny when the principal walks out and he's like, your mama really cares about your education.
You don't say much, do you?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
you-
like sweating and stuff.
You do hear the principal like coming from the house during the act, and he is making like animal noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting into it. So good on him, I guess.
And then after that, I guess they're laying there. He's telling her a story, and he asked what vacation.
What was
is.
vacation?
Oh, right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she had told the principal
Yeah, that he was
his
on-
daddy's on vacation.
So he needs to know what vacation
Yeah.
is.
Mom says that vacation's a place where you go and you never come back. Yeah. And,
So we know early on we're not
Yeah.
gonna see a dad.
His dad's not around at all.
right.
She had a slow kid. He knew it. He dipped out.
Yeah. Dad's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah.
I'm glad they never bring him up because as a viewer, it'd be hard to try to like this dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's nobody's fault with kids like that.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
I take
Went out
Forrest.
for a pack of cigarettes and never came home. That's
Right.
how they did it. What in the 50s?
Right.
Forrest is awesome. I would take him as a kid.
Yeah, I mean he's cool. He just kind of does his thing, you know. We find out that mom has renters that stay at their house. They got this big old house, been in the family for generations,
Yeah.
and she has people renting out the rooms. And so then,
It's like a hotel almost.
Bed and
like B&B,
breakfast.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
type
B&B.
thing.
Okay.
And so yeah, she we find out that Elvis Presley, the king, stayed there.
Jack.
Forrest taught him how to dance.
He did.
Yeah.
All that hip driving and shit you saw on TV, folks. Forrest taught Elvis how to do
Forrest
that.
taught Elvis Presley how to do
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, revisionist
That was
history.
one of the first great things Forrest Gump ever did, and a plethora of great things he's gonna do.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, he's had
So he
a
taught
productive life. I haven't done a 10th.
A very
of this
accomplished life, that's for sure.
That was the first though. His first accomplishment
Teaching
was
Elvis how to dance.
Yep.
dance.
So he goes to mom after banging out the principal. He's set to go to his first day of school. And so, anyway, we come to find out, I guess, he tells the bus driver, like, I can't talk to strangers. They introduce himself. He's good. Funny part of the scene, though, is that all the one
Seats
kid,
taken.
seats taken, yeah, which they harken back to later.
Can't sit here, seats taken.
Yeah. That one kid has such a weird accent. I've always thought it, like, I've never heard that accent down south. It almost sounds like a New York accent. Can't sit here.
Yeah, no, he was the odd one. The last one before Jenny?
The last kid before Jenny invites him to sit down. It's like, where's this kid from? Because he doesn't sound like he's from Alabama.
I wonder if
He
there's some
sounds like
Creole
some
stuff in
Boston
there.
kid or something.
He sounds
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I was talking about the quotes we use from the movie. I use from the movie. We still use seats
Oh, yeah,
taken.
yeah.
Can't sit here, seats taken. We do it all the time.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what happened?
Jenny?
next? So yeah, Jenny is
He meets the most beautiful, or what do you say?
He said he can't remember a whole lot of stuff, but he remembers the first time he heard the sweetest voice in the wide world.
Yeah.
And it's this little girl sitting by herself on a bus, and she says, "You can come sit over here if you want." And so then she asked, they get to talking. She asked if he's stupid or something, and we get another line that everybody
Stupid is
said.
as stupid does. I
That's
don't know
it.
what that means, by the way.
If you don't do stupid stuff, you're not stupid. If
I
you
guess,
do
yeah,
stupid
that
stuff-
your actions
if you're doing
make you
stupid,
stupid.
if you're doing stupid things, then you are stupid.
Right.
I can't believe it took all this time for someone to explain to me what that meant.
That maybe your stupidity is not based on your intellect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You
No, it was a
completely
play
know.
on words. You just rearrange them and then it's decoded or something.
That's
Didn't
it.
decode it.
Forrest got it.
Decoded.
I guess he's smarter than you. Anyways, we don't get to see what happens at school, but we do see where these bullies start hucking rocks at him.
Dude, this is the part of the movie. We watched this movie together, and just before we started recording this is one of the times that we all start like chuckling. Because he catches
like
these
a
rocks.
soldier,
Yeah.
right,
To
right
the
in the
head,
back
and
of the
he
head.
doesn't even flinch.
He just like
man.
reaches up, rubs it a little bit.
Dude, it was a fucking boulder, that first rock that actually pegged him. It was
That thing was a
golly,
softball, man. Yeah.
And then he turns around and they're still throwing
And
it.
he just looks at it and just takes a
Poop.
couple more. Like, what? I guess I'll just let him keep throwing rocks at me.
And that leads right into another iconic "Run, Forrest,
Yeah.
run!"
Finally, at the behest of Jenny, he decides he's going to take off from these bullies. And that's when old Forrest is talking about his miracles happening every day. Yeah. And you see these leg braces just pop off,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
just explode.
There's
they
a
just
lot of
fly
metal on them things, man.
They were.
I was watching
They were
that.
heavy duty.
I was watching that, wondering like, did the actor actually have metal braces on his legs that were designed to break apart as he ran?
I'm sure.
Because you can see like he's running stiff-legged, but as soon as he starts bending his knees, that's
Yeah,
when they
they
all
just,
kind of
like,
shoot off.
That's when, they disintegrate, basically.
It's a really great scene.
Yeah,
It is. It is.
And he's still got those Ronald McDonald shoes on. You know what I
He
mean? Like,
does.
they were attached to the leg braces, but
things.
he still wears those for the rest of his
Childhood.
non-leg brace having childhood.
And I love like the effects, like when he's running, there's always like this cloud of dust
Yeah,
behind
this
him.
dust trail
yeah.
been kicked up behind
It's
us.
like cartoony for real.
Yeah.
Like Roadrunner or
Yeah.
something.
Every
yeah.
time he turns a corner, like the people that are chasing him are all of a sudden like 100 yards further away from
Yeah.
him. It's really good.
Yeah,
Those kids were pissed at their bikes.
Yeah.
They get pissed at their
Yeah, he
bikes.
outruns
Throw
a
their
pack of
bikes
kids on
down.
bicycles.
yeah.
You got 3 kids on a bicycle.
For a kid that never ran before, that's
Yeah.
pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
He lets us know that from that point on, if he had to go anywhere, he was running.
Right, and he was fast too, boy.
And it kind of throws me off because they try to skip a little bit of time, but they lead you to believe that
Same day.
he ran past that barber shop, and those guys are like, "That boy is a running fool."
Forrest Gump.
He
again.
just started running today, you know. But obviously, it was like a few days later he'd been running like
or
crazy,
maybe a
or
week
something.
or two
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
But you know, they kind of lead you to believe that he just runs by them the same day he's running from the kids. And then
Yeah.
he just started running like
Right?
10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
He's not a running.
there he
fool yet.
goes. Yeah.
He kicks up a newspaper when he runs by those
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. He runs over to Jenny's house, and we find out a little bit more of a story about Jenny, because he talks about how Jenny is like his only friend, the girl from the bus, and so Dad's kind of a scumbag. I guess Mom had died when she was younger, and so they show where I guess she is like, my dad's asleep. We gotta keep quiet or whatever. Let's get out of here.
Well, he told us earlier that she never wanted to go home.
Yeah, never wanted.
Like, whenever they hung out, like, she just wanted the day to last a little bit longer every time.
Right.
And then he said that his dad was real lovable. Really loving, because he was always kissing and touching.
Kissing her and touching, hugging her and stuff.
Her and her sisters. So,
Scumbag.
yeah, her dad's a fucking child molester.
Child molester, drunk, you know what I mean? And he was asleep, middle of the day, comes stumbling out of the house.
Right.
trying to-
He's got that bottle
Danny,
of whiskey
where
in
are
his
you,
hand.
girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
Bottle
Yeah,
in
it
hand. Yeah. And they run out to this. I don't think we ever found out what those damn plants were that he was growing out there. They were.
I think it was tobacco. I've never seen anything with leaves that big.
I mean, I
think it was tobacco.
You
definitely
see
growing-
like cabbage, but they don't grow up. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He's definitely growing a variety of things.
He does. He's got
Right.
some
He's
wheat.
got some
He's
corn.
got some corn.
Yeah.
They got whatever the mystery plant is.
He's out there farming
Yeah.
and being a douchebag.
being a drunk
Douchebag.
molester, and she's got sisters.
Yeah, that we never see.
We never see
we
her
never see
sisters. You know, and she prays to be a bird, and
Yeah.
so
She
she
can fly
didn't
far,
she
far,
didn't
far,
turn
far,
into
far
a bird.
away
But
from
the
here.
police came,
All right.
Right.
took her to grandma's.
Right.
Step up, I guess.
What
Which
about her
is-
sisters?
Yeah, I don't know. We never see him.
I'm just gonna chill with Dad.
They're
Or
staying over
sisters.
there.
It's a bad deal. I don't know. I assume they got the. I mean, they never said. I would assume if they're gonna get one kid out of there and move her to live with Grandma, they did it for all of
Well,
them.
she did live in a travel trailer, so I mean,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah,
couldn't
Forrest.
have 3 kids in a travel trailer.
Forrest doesn't have that much interest in what happens to them sisters anyway. He never goes into it. But it turns out Grandma's house is closer to his.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
They're
went-
friends all the way through high school.
And then we get back to, once again, we cut ahead to when he's in high school. It's really funny because these dudes are chucking rocks at him.
Yeah,
But this time from the bed of a pickup.
from pickup.
Yeah.
Rebel flag on the front.
Big,
The
yeah.
more things change, the more they stay the same. You know?
It's the same. You know, it's got to be the same 3
yeah.
assholes that were throwing rocks at him
Jerks.
10 years earlier.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no
Probably what
doubt.
it is, dude.
It makes you think. It makes you wonder. Like, was this every day after
Yeah, just
school?
fucking
These
with this dude
motherfuckers were
every
bored,
day.
and just we're gonna go chase Forrest down again and throw rocks at him again. And
Shit, it's
and
already
make him run.
4:15.
We haven't caught him since we were on bikes, but we're gonna continue to do this.
We got a truck now.
We got a truck now.
You know that's why they
Souped
bought
up.
that truck, too.
Yeah, we'll catch you now.
But Forrest hasn't changed his reaction at all. He still just catches rocks in the head like a pro.
Yeah, he does.
Just
they
shakes
use
them off.
smaller rocks whenever he's older, though.
Yeah.
Which, so I was looking this up. I found it interesting. So he's in high school, right?
Yeah.
Anybody dare to guess how old he was, Tom Hanks, when they were filming this stuff?
I would say like 32 or 33.
Yeah, I'm saying that's pretty
He's
close.
38.
Was he closer to 40 playing high
They're
school
trying to
kid?
pass this dude off as a high school, like 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I bought it. Took Lennon sticker, yeah. Bought it completely.
Jeez.
So
years
then he outruns the truck
He
Yeah.
does.
and completely leaps over that fence.
He clears it, man.
Yeah, just jump. It's a good 3 foot tall fence, and he just jumps over it like it's a hurdle.
Yeah, it's good. He, what is it? So he takes off and he runs through this football scrimmage that's taking place. Is that like University of Alabama that
Yes.
was playing at the
Yeah.
time?
I don't know that. No,
That's
it
Bear
wasn't.
Bryant.
Huh?
That's Bear Bryant. He's got the classic.
Oh
Bear
yeah,
Bryant
yeah,
hat.
yeah. No, they weren't playing. He was scouting it. That was
Oh,
a high
I gotcha.
school. That was his local high school team.
I
and that's why when he says, "Who the hell is that?" You know what I mean? The guy's like, "Oh, it's just a local idiot." That was like their
I
coach
gotcha.
talking to him. He was there scouting their team.
Man, I'm glad you're
but
here, Cook.
he totally outran their.
He outran
from
the ball.
pass-
The
yeah,
receiver,
the ball to
yeah.
the receiver. He outran it, and it led to him getting
Him
to go
going to
college.
college. Well, that's. I was about to
Roll
say.
Tide.
Roll Tide.
Oh God.
Single-handedly led them to a national championship on kick returns alone.
Yeah, that's it.
He's pretty amazing.
That is awesome.
He can run his ass off.
I was about to say, I'll buy Greenbow not being a real place, but if you're trying to tell me, like, Alabama University is in Greenbow, I'm going to call bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
No,
that makes more sense.
He even mentioned where he was at. That he went to. It was University of Alabama. What town they're in? What town is it in?
Montgomery?
No. Damn, I feel
Something.
But yeah, they're in that town. So he runs. We cut to him in college, right? Kick return. The other guy catches the ball, has to go hand it to Forrest and say, "Run!" And Forrest says, "Okay." And then he starts running.
The coach is yelling at him. He starts running toward the coach.
And he just scores the touchdown and does not stop running and plows directly through the band.
Runs through the band, trombone players,
Right.
knocks them down.
Right into the tunnel.
All the
keeps
way
running.
to the tunnel. He probably ran home. We don't know where he ran that time, but he
great.
probably ran home.
We get to the desegregation of the University of Alabama, where I guess Governor George Wallace at the time, and he had a general with him that was head of the National Guard. There's a standoff that took place between like the federal the
National National
the United States military versus him, basically not wanting these kids to go through or whatever. And so, sure enough, these kids get to go into school, and Forrest picks up her book because she dropped it, and he walks right on in.
You know that it always interests me that this was one of the first movies where they were able to take something now and put it into actual old footage.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty big thing. That was one of the things that I was like, man, how'd they do that when I was a kid, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that was one of them, because you got to think some of that had to be real footage, like not actors.
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
yeah.
Most
it's
of it
real
is.
footage.
And then they
CGI'd
just,
his
and then
ass in there.
he walks around and picks up the book. Like that stuff didn't happen. But
No.
Right.
CGI.
And he we see that a few more
And
times.
he's like
throughout the movie.
standing over there, and they're like, "Hey, let's go."
during the
Yeah.
news.
But that was the first time that I think this was the first movie that did that, man.
I'm pretty sure.
Because
It
I
actually
think that
won
was
him an
like
Oscar
a big
for
deal.
Best Visual
Like it was a
Effects.
big deal back then.
It
Like
was.
this was the first movie I believe that did. I'm not for sure if it really was the very first one that did it, but it was one of the
At
first
least the
ones
first
I
one-
rememast.
The first mainstream, major Hollywood.
At least
Yeah.
the first one to do it well.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Yeah.
That didn't look like
We can
crap.
say that confidently. First
Yeah.
one to do it well.
It kind of still looked like crap, but it looked good. Like
Watching
when
it
you're
back
watching
in the
it
day,
now on a Blu-ray
in HD.
That's
yeah,
the double-edged sword. There's the HD brings out all the flaws
Yeah.
in this shit, you know.
Yeah, back on VHS in '95 that
Great.
summer, best quality we had.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
It totally looked real. Like, man, how did they get Forrest Gump into that?
Does watching that segregation scene fuck with you guys in any way?
I was gonna say there's a lot of stuff in this movie, and I think that's part of it that would not be made today, or they would omit that part from the movie because of this racial unrest that's going on nowadays. I don't think that they would include it in the movie because it's bound to piss somebody off.
Well, we know from the movie that was early '60s, right, when that happened. And what's crazy is we're actually sitting in the famous town of Muskogee, Oklahoma, and the year I was born was the first year they desegregated the schools here.
Oh wow.
Well,
So that's less than 40 years ago.
Yeah.
They were still segregated in this town.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It
That is.
is. It's a different time.
Thought about
It's
it.
different times, and you also gotta think they're deep south too.
Yeah.
Like
Real
they're,
deep.
They're deep south.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it took them even a little longer.
Yeah, everybody
To
else
do it,
was
you know?
already doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, deep south. They held on. It's still trying to hold on to this day.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
but they held on to that value for forever. It seems.
Right. So Forrest goes to. Did they say where Jenny was going to college?
This goes to some art school or something, right?
Is it?
It was just a boys and girls college.
Yeah, it was.
Or no,
co-ed.
it was an all girls college.
That's what it was.
He went to
She was-
boys and girls college. She went to all girls college.
Yeah.
I think they're in Birmingham at this point.
Birmingham. Yeah. I've been through Birmingham. It's a nice town.
Yeah,
I really like it.
I think they're in Birmingham at this
Yeah.
point. I can't remember the name of that college. But she takes a picture in that for Playboy.
Well,
In there.
Forrest catches her making out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Pulls
And,
it- just
he
opens
thinks
the-
that he's taking advantage and just beats the shit out
Yeah.
of this dude. Yeah. And she takes him up to the room, up to her dorm, and they're talking and stuff. And she talks about how she wants to be a folk singer and all this other stuff. And then she tries to get a little frisky with Forrest, and she reaches out and has Forrest grab some boob,
Yeah.
and then he comes in his pants.
Yeah.
This is the second movie where we've talked about cum, Mike.
Really?
Well, you think in Silence of the Lambs, you got the
Oh,
jizz flinger, yeah.
Well, it's pretty funny.
He doesn't come in his pants though. He comes on that roommate's
Bath towel or robe.
He has that on her lap. He mentions it too. He's
What-
like, I think I ruined your roommate's robe or something.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm dizzy. Yeah.
And then we find out there's actually someone else in the room.
The
Yeah,
roommate's
yeah.
awake listening to all this.
She heard this whole thing go down.
I love it. That's so funny. So, let me ask you all this. What is your opinion of Jenny? Because I've had kind of a recent
Well,
revelation of Jenny.
at this point,
She's not too bad.
she's not bad.
Right.
So we can't really. She hasn't necessarily done anything wrong
Too,
in my eyes
too
at this
mean-spirited.
point.
Yeah.
You know, she's even like the guy. She's like, he doesn't know any better. Like,
Right.
they're still just friends.
Slow, yeah.
They're just friends. Like,
Right.
you know, I don't know. They're not feeling each other like
It's
that.
platonic.
Well,
Yeah,
for her,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
platonic. He's in love.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's going to the. He sat out in the rain for how many hours to
Yeah.
watch her make out with some dude in
Right.
the car. You know what I mean?
And still had her back 100%.
Right.
pulled her out,
We,
waylaying that dude.
Yeah.
beating that ass.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it wasn't cock block.
Cock blocks
Forrest
himself.
was cock blocking.
Oh,
that
yeah.
dude right there.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
He wasn't trying to hurt her.
He's just trying to get his balls wet.
Yeah.
It's fine.
it wasn't about that. It was not about
No,
getting
the dude in the car.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah,
Forrest. He
Not
just wanted to see her.
No, he just had to chop.
He didn't even know anything about getting it on or anything at that
no.
point. It's funny because they cut back to where he's playing football, and so people are holding up signs like "Run, Forrest," and then like they hold up signs that say "Stop."
Yeah, so he doesn't run over the band.
The
anymore.
band even like gets in front, like
Right,
puts her
like,
hands
no,
up, like,
no,
"Oh,
yeah."
stop."
So he gets put on the All-American football team.
Yeah.
He meets JFK.
First president he meets.
Yeah.
JFK.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about all the food and drinks that they had.
Makes
he wanted
an
something to
ass
drink.
of himself.
He does.
Oh yeah,
For the first time.
yeah.
He talks about all this food.
Yeah.
And so there's all these Dr. Pepper. He loves Dr. Pepper. He's drinking the shit out of
Wants to
them.
drink 15 Dr. Peppers.
Right.
15 of them.
He goes meet the president. And he's like, "Well, how do you feel?" And he's like, "I have to pee."
I have to
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Goes and pisses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sees a picture of Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
It says, what's the picture say? It says something risque on it.
It does?
Yeah.
I didn't read it.
Yeah, like to my Johnny boy or something like that. And it's got like a heart.
I saw the like heart with like the
Little
kiss
XOs
hug.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I didn't see what it said though.
It says something like to my Johnny boy or I can't remember now. You know, and I just watched it. I was going to take notes, but I like watching
Are
it
we
better.
led to believe he used the president's bathroom in his bedroom?
Yeah. They let him.
Or does he
use
just have this
that
shit
one.
sitting around? Yeah.
He's got pictures of Marilyn in every bathroom in the White House.
So he can beat off.
Yeah.
That's it. He goes. What is it? He graduates. Mom's there at the graduation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gentleman from the United States military.
Army.
Yeah. He's asking if anybody wants to enlist, and he asked Forrest if he's thought about his future. And
Thought about my future.
What's the future?
all of a sudden we cut
Hang
to.
on.
We see where this drill sergeant is just chewing his ass hard on this bus on the way to
Well,
basic
he
training.
gets
He
on the boat.
introduces himself.
Yeah.
That's all he does, and he gets his fucking tongue lashing.
Yeah, he tried to introduce himself just like he did on the school
Right.
bus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Drill sergeant can get the
Dude's just going at him,
I
yeah.
don't give a fuck what your name is. It's a slimy scumbag. Oh
Right.
man, I can't remember exactly what he said. He lays into it real quick though.
Then we get the second seats taken.
Yeah.
Which is a funny little callback.
So then we meet his Jenny of the Army, Bubba.
Mm-hmm. Bubba. He is a shrimp aficionado, I wrote.
What's his name?
Bubba Blue.
Benjamin Buford Blue. 3 B's. I think that's why they call him Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's 'cause
Like
he's
old
got-
redneck, he
Yeah,
said.
like one of them old redneck boys. You believe that?
I love Bubba.
Bubba
He's
is
great.
one of my favorites.
I love Bubba like instantly in this film.
Yeah.
Pretty slow, so him and Forrest
Yeah,
have
they
common
click
ground.
right.
They're
right
both
off
from
the bat.
Alabama.
Both
Yeah.
from Alabama.
And all Bubba cares about is shrimping.
All Bubba cares
Man.
about shrimp.
So, any military people listening, Bubba and Forrest are infantry. So, what's that tell you? just gonna throw that out there. They ain't exactly Army military intelligence.
I'll take a Forrest Gump. I'll take a platoon full of Forests.
Well, that's what's
You ain't
that's
gotta
what's
think
awesome
about it.
is like everywhere he was slow at, he goes to the Army, and all of a sudden he's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the drill sergeant's like, how are you so damn smart? You're such a genius.
Right.
Because he's like, to do whatever you tell me to, Drill Sergeant.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I've ever heard in my you know? He's so...
He sets the company record for
Yeah.
disassembly and assembly of his
Yeah.
weapon.
Yeah.
That's
Tears it
a-
apart. He's an animal.
Yeah.
That I mean, it goes back to, you know, autism and how it works. Like,
The idiot savant type of guy.
some people just can't do simple tasks, but you throw a rifle in front of them, they tear it down, and
Right.
put it back together in no time. You know, I think he was more autistic than he was anything.
I'd agree.
else.
And I guess in the book they actually talk more about him being a savant type of guy. But they allude to it in the movie, but not that much.
Come on, dude. They spend the whole movie talking about how amazing this guy is. Are you kidding me?
But he gets lucky a lot too. It's
Hell
not like
no.
he's, you know, great at any one thing. But I do think it's funny because this goes to show basically if you can follow orders and you can run, dude, the military's gonna love you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it, man.
He's in basic training. He's talking about basically, you know, he thinks about Mama and everybody back home, but what he really thinks about the most is Jenny, and that's when some dude like tosses a Playboy of Jenny over to him.
Jenny's in the Playboy.
So she got kicked out of school for wearing her
School
Letterman
jacket,
sweater,
Letterman jacket, yeah. Her sweater.
And so then he goes to see Jenny. Turns out she is a folk singer. I guess she got in trouble over the sweater thing. And she's singing folk songs in this, I guess
Strip
it's
club.
a strip
joint.
club.
Yeah.
It's called Girls, Girls, Girls.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
definitely a strip joint.
Yeah. But I've never been to one where they played guitar.
She's not showing anything though.
No,
she's
she's
got
not.
the guitar over, and that's what the crowd is upset about.
Right. She's not showing it.
Put down the goddamn guitar. I
She
think
can
one
sing,
guy
though.
says, yeah.
She could actually sing, but you got all those creeps in the front row are like trying to grab her, and one guy
We
like
didn't come
tosses.
to hear your voice, yeah.
One guy like tosses a drink on her, and so Forrest engaged.
Right. Hops down there, starts whipping that dude's ass. He knocks out like two.
He's
or
got a
three dudes.
mean right hand.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
It comes
That's
from-
all he's got. He doesn't ever hit anybody with any other hand. He hits them like 4 or 5 times with that right, and they're done.
He comes from way back.
He does. Yeah. He's got that autistic strength.
Boom!
Bam. Yeah.
Punch it through a motherfucker.
So then he like tries to carry Jenny out of there. She's not having it, but she leaves with him anyways.
Yeah. They get to talking, and he tells her that he loves her, and she basically scoffs it off. She's like, "You don't know what love is," you know. And so then he tells her he's going to Vietnam, and she basically tells him before she like hitches a ride with this dude in a truck. She's like, "Whatever happens out there, if you're in trouble, you run.
Don't
you
be
know?
brave, just run.
Right."
Yeah.
And so then he goes to Vietnam, and we cut to some CCR, which I
Yeah.
love. Credence. If
Come in on the helicopter.
yeah, if I was
Got
gonna
the
go
chopper
to Vietnam,
gunner.
yeah,
That, by the way, this chopper gunner is not nearly as cool as the chopper gunner on Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, no way.
I agree.
I like they should have had more of a Full Metal Jacket.
This one does have a
chopper.
gnarly, like curly mustache, though.
It does.
I have my uncle Jigger. His
Uncle
name is,
Jigger?
Yeah, his name is Jimmy. But
Oh, okay.
he's been affectionately called Jigger since he was a little boy, because
Yeah.
a Jigger is a double shot.
Right.
My grandfather was a proud alcoholic, and so like he said when my uncle was born, my grandfather said that boy ain't any bigger than a Jigger.
Yeah.
So that's how he got the name. I kind of have to always explain that, otherwise people think weird things. Anyways, he was a door gunner in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like every time I see that, I'm just like, there's Uncle Jigger.
Yeah.
Jigger. That's good.
Yes, and they come in, they land.
Yeah. They're playing, well, so CCR, Fortunate Son,
Yeah.
it's a war protest song, but if I was going to Vietnam, I'd want to listen to that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the music back then was war protest music.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nobody agreed with the Vietnam War.
Right.
I
Did.
on either side. I
Didn't,
think.
yeah.
Nobody agreed with it.
We see where he finally makes it to his platoon, and these guys are just chilling. They're drinking beers, they're cooking steaks,
Yeah.
and we meet Lieutenant Dan.
Gary Sinise.
Dan Taylor, yep. And his shtick is that he has had a member of his family in every generation die in every single American war.
Right.
Yeah.
Fought and died.
Fought
in.
and died.
So
And
he
so he's
feels
got a lot to live up to.
that's his namesake, is he wants to die in war.
Yeah, he's got it. This is the war.
Well,
He's got to die.
Calling his
in.
name, you
Yeah.
bet.
he calls them his F and G's, which for you guys out there that don't know, that means fucking new guys.
Right.
And he's like, where y'all from? Alabama, sir. Alabama. Are you guys twins? And they have to like look at each other to find out.
Yeah.
They're not related. And Lieutenant Dan looks at him like,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
they sent me this.
Right.
Golly.
Yeah. He comments about Bubba because Bubba's got this big old bottom lip that protrudes constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And he
It looks
said
like he's got a chaw, like the biggest chaw a man could put in his
underbite
lip.
going. Yeah.
He's got a big old chew of Levi Garrett.
Why your lips stick out like that? Boa big gum, son.
Yeah.
Better tuck that in before you catch that on the chirp wire, son. The rest of the scene, you see Bubba like he's trying to hold his lip in.
Trying to suck it back. Yeah. It's great. Lieutenant Dan talks incessantly to no end about socks.
Yeah.
You need dry socks, man.
Yeah.
He said that's going to be the difference of life and death out here. He said the enemy, they're going to have wet, soggy feet, and it's going to mess them up in the end. But anytime we stop, change the socks.
Well, he reinforces that with his 2 standing orders. Order number 1, keep on dry socks. Order number 2 is don't do dumb shit.
Don't do anything stupid.
Get yourself killed.
Yeah.
I do like how they show up and salute him. He's like, put that away.
Yeah.
You're going to get me shot.
They're waiting to grease the officer, he says. You know?
Yeah.
So they go on patrol, and Forrest kind of describes to us that they're always looking for this guy named Charlie.
Yeah.
I love it.
And all Lieutenant Dan ever does is tell him to shut up, or get down and shut up.
So he does. That's what the next scene cuts to. That's another thing I love about this movie. He'll tell the story, and then it cuts to the scene, and he's saying
verbatim.
He's telling this fucking story verbatim to somebody.
Right.
You know, because even when it cuts to the scene or the flashback, he's running through it. You know.
And you're right, that happens a lot.
Yeah, a lot in this movie.
A lot of times in the
It
movie.
cuts right to
So sharp.
It either happens right before he says it,
right
or
after.
right after he says it.
Yeah, it's a real slick with it. It's awesome.
It is awesome, and as you get to go through this movie, you start to see how often it happens.
He starts naming off all the other.
I actually
people.
wrote them down.
Did you write them down? None of them were from where their name is.
He says, I felt like we had some America's best in the war. He said, we had Dallas from Phoenix, Cleveland from Detroit, and Tex. And I don't remember where he was from.
Probably the one guy who was actually from Texas.
Where they were from.
That's why they called him that, I'm sure. It starts raining for 4 months out there
4
in Vietnam.
months.
Yeah.
And the sock thing, that's a real thing, man. It's like what they call it, jungle rot.
Oh yeah.
You walk around with wet socks for too long. Your
start
feet
getting
start getting
infection
wet,
and stuff
gangrene and shit. Isn't it gangrene?
I challenge you to walk around in wet socks and boots for 4 hours.
Yeah, I know. You'll have blisters
Yeah.
that'll eat you up.
Dude, your feet will start cracking, splitting and stuff. Yeah, it's nasty.
It's gross.
The sock thing, and then it rains for 4 months. You definitely got to
And they're walking around holding their rifles up, chest deep in this swamp. Yeah.
terrible.
I like his description of the rain.
Coming up from the ground.
No, he said little bitty stinging rain, big old fat rain. Yeah.
Rain coming from the side. Yeah.
Sometimes it even seemed like the rain was coming straight up.
Yeah.
I still use that when it starts pouring
I
outside.
say big old fat rain every time it rains,
Big old
even
fat
if
rain.
it isn't big old fat rain.
Yeah.
It
I
could
love
just
it.
be regular old rain, and I'll be like, big old fat rain.
Whatever. Yeah.
I must have been like super
Like,
impressionable
dude,
when I was watching this
it's
movie.
barely sprinkling. It's like, no,
Right.
it's big old fat rain.
Little bitty stinging rain.
We get to the point where Forrest and Bubba have decided to sleep back to back, so they can lean on each other while they're sleeping.
Yeah, he sits down and says, "Let's sleep like this," and then he doesn't shut up.
Yeah. Right.
Wants to
Let
start
me
fucking
sleep,
talking.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were taking a nap, and you're over here wanting to have a whole goddamn business meeting with me.
It turns out to be a pretty important scene, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They decided to go into shrimping together.
Shrimping business.
50-50 partners, straight up the middle.
Yep.
Bubba's gonna be captain, and the
They're
Gump's
gonna live
be
on the boat,
first
no
mate.
rent,
Yep.
Yep. Bubba's gonna be, Forrest gonna be the first mate.
Right.
and all the shrimp you can eat.
I guess this took a shrimp.
All of them you can eat.
My wife loves some shrimp.
Oh, I'll eat some shrimp.
She could eat shrimp
If
all
I was
day.
a shrimp boat captain, I probably would not be that fond of it though. After a while, he's writing all these letters to Jenny. Explains to her how he's got this business proposal with Bubba, and so then, sure enough, one day rain stops out of nowhere, which I find interesting. Because to me, once that rain stopped, that looked miserable, bro. Because before you had the rain and the clouds and stuff, now it's gonna be a hot, humid
muggy
disaster.
mess, yeah.
You got 4 months worth of rain causing this humidity out here.
And then the sun comes out.
I mean, from whatever I've heard from family and old vets, and stuff, it was terrible.
Oh, I'm sure.
The humidity was
Well, they
disgusting.
never have to go through another day of it after the sun comes up
No.
this time.
They sure don't. It's all
Because
ice cream
it's
and
like
ping
an
pong. from here on.
ambush.
Yeah, firefight immediately.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sun breaks, boom.
Yeah.
Some
It
dude
was
just-
almost like the rain was giving them cover for a little bit, and then as soon as the rain stopped, they saw them and just
Game
started lighting them up.
I forgot how intense that scene was.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
That's pretty.
Good
They
stuff.
showed the other guys blowing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember ever seeing that in a movie before this movie.
I forgot that guy gets his fucking skull peeled back
Yeah.
right away.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's standing right next to Forrest, he's the one to get shot in the head. Like, and Forrest is looking up at the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he fires like
Forrest-
4 rounds.
Yeah. Forrest
I
starts
think
shooting.
that's all. Yeah, he doesn't fire very many rounds
He's
though.
just spraying and praying, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's all over the place with that.
Well, he's just looking at Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, wanting his orders.
Yeah,
That's
tell me what
he's-
to do.
That's what he's looking for. That's the reason. Bubba's telling him to run. He's not listening to Bubba.
Right.
He's waiting for his lieutenant to give him an order.
Yeah, earlier when he
Yeah.
met him, he said that he thought he was a fine officer and he was really happy he could to work with
A
him.
lot of smart information and stuff.
Yeah, so like you can tell in the scene, like I don't know,
He wasn't going to leave him behind.
no,
you know.
he wasn't
Right.
doing shit until Lieutenant Dan told him to.
Lieutenant Dan told him to, and he still didn't do anything. Because Lieutenant Dan was trying to lay there. When
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan actually physically picks him up
Yeah.
and forces
Sends him on
to
his
run
way, yeah.
and starts running with them, that's when he actually moves.
Right.
He doesn't move just even off the verbal order. Like
Right.
it's like, no man, I'm not leaving. You got to get up and
Yeah.
run too.
Right.
I'm not gonna leave you here.
So then he outruns his entire
Yeah,
platoon.
he remembers what Ginny told him, and he books it.
Exactly.
And, yeah, he
He gets
realizes
to the coast.
He's by himself.
apparently.
Yeah.
He winds up like
On the beach.
on a beach
Way out
somewhere
there,
out
yeah.
of the jungle.
Realizes
He,
that he left his whole platoon behind.
Yeah, Bubba's in there.
He's got to go find Bubba.
He's got to find Bubba. It's his best good friend.
On his way, his best good friend. On his
good
way,
friend.
he's like tripping over these bodies of guys that were ambushed,
Yeah.
and so he starts getting these guys, picking them up, taking them out of there.
He saves 4 that I can count.
Yeah, I counted 4.
Uh,
Not including Bubba.
Right.
Bubba and Dan. Did you include Dan too?
Yeah.
I did include Dan,
I include Dan because he saved Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
It seemed like there were more people there than 4 people.
Well, a lot of them got smoked though. He was
Yeah.
picking up the people who.
Oh,
Were
he was picking up some dead too.
Yeah.
And dragging them back.
Oh, the people he carried back were like Forrest,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
calling his name.
There was
I
4
think he
of
just-
them.
right.
yeah, I think he
But
just snatched 4 of them.
it seemed like there was more than that sitting on the little landing.
Oh no,
As
I
he-
actually counted when it
Was there
showed
4?
the wide
Okay.
angle shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was wondering that because when he turned around the last time to run for Bubba.
His 4th person he rescues is Lieutenant Dan,
Lieutenant Dan.
who
Yeah.
does not want to be rescued.
No, he's trying to die.
He almost fights him.
Yeah.
Like, leave me here, goddammit!
yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to die.
This is my destiny.
And yeah, he's toting his ass out there. On the way back in to go get, I think was it when he's carrying Lieutenant Dan, he gets shot in the ass?
Yeah.
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 Something
did
bet
good.
me.
Yeah, something come up and bit me right in the buttocks. And so yeah, he gets shot in the ass, drops off Lieutenant Dan, comes back, finds Bubba.
Yeah.
And
He's got like a palm leaf over his belly, you know, kind
Yeah,
of
it's-
hiding the wound. He's like, I'm alright.
Yeah. And Lieutenant Dan told him you can't go back in there.
Yeah.
To get him. Like, I got an airstrike coming
Yeah,
in right
napalm.
now.
They're fixing napalm this whole place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They're gonna burn it down.
Forrest doesn't give a shit. He still goes out there.
He's got to find Bubba.
Finds
Finds
Bubba.
him. He's all messed up.
He's not in good shape at all.
His guts
his
are like
guts are
hanging
hanging
out,
out.
I think.
Yeah.
tuck that back in there.
And so you can't fireman carry him like he was everybody else. So he
He
just
had to carry him.
does like the bridal carry
Yep, he carries him back.
Outruns the napalm.
just
does.
in time.
Just in time. Which I think that the explosions were real, I want to say. But the airplanes looked fake as shit to me that were flying over. Because I think you're honed in watching the explosions go off.
Yeah.
And so I knew what that was going to look like.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the airplanes, they look fake as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have. I mean, it was $55 million. They already had to rent a helicopter to
Well,
fly these boys in.
This is when, right? And CGI was kind of in its infancy back then
Yeah.
too, you know.
Yeah,
so-
it was probably pretty expensive.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
do
this is the
that.
same year The Mask came out. Keep in mind, you know. So, but so we cut to where Forrest is taken to this military hospital area.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Oh yeah, he has the last line with Bubba.
yeah, he's got to talk to Bubba.
Right. Tell us what they're talking about.
He tells him he's telling the story now, and he's like, had I known this was the last time that I was going to talk to Bubba, I'd have thought of something better to say. And all he said to him was, hey, Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
He says, "Hey, Forrest."
that was pretty much
He's
it.
like,
There's-
he's like,
is that,
Forrest,
why
am
is
I
this
dying?
happening?
Yeah, why is
You
this
know,
happening?
why is this happening to me? And Forrest is like, you know, they're just so simple. Both of them together is just, you got shot, Bubba. And then he's just like, he thinks, and it's a simple line, you know, he's just like, I want to go home. But that stuck with Forrest for some reason. He was like, I'll never forget him saying this, and he died. He
Yeah.
says he was gonna go be a big shrimp and boat captain. Instead, he died right there in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And that scene actually tears me up every time I watch it. Like, I couldn't imagine holding your best friend and watching him die in your arms.
Right.
And a lot of these, a lot of veterans have done that, you know. But I couldn't imagine ever doing that. Losing friends, you know, over our lifetime already. I couldn't imagine watching them die
In your arms.
in your arms. You know what I mean? And I could see myself having like a dumbass conversation, like, "Are you all right?"
What's that feel
No,
like, man?
man, I'm not all right. No, well, dang. But, you know, I wouldn't know what to say either. So I
Right.
kind of related with Forrest, even though he was slow. I kind of related with him there. Like, what would you say?
There's nothing to say.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Nothing you can say that changes anything.
No.
I find that, like, whenever people are going through difficult times, like, I was working with a young lady who, she had lost her child. And all I ever say in those situations is, like, I can only imagine. Because I haven't suffered that pain.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say I know how you feel or any of
Yeah.
that bullshit. Just, like, I can only imagine how
I
terrible
can't
that is.
bullshit my way through, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what to say, really.
Yeah.
I have a similar reaction to whenever I watch like Saving Private Ryan and the medic gets shot.
Yeah.
Man, that shit gets me tore up, dude. It's tough to watch, you know.
Well, and this was Forrest's first big loss.
Yeah.
Like in
Plus
his
half
life.
of his friends.
Yeah. Well, they weren't his friends really. You know, the way I
No,
perceived
Bubba
it-
makes up half of his friends.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he
Bubba is 50% of Forrest friends.
Forrest
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah, because
He's only got two.
yeah, Jenny
Right.
and Bubba.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, because him and Dan are buddies.
No.
You know what I mean? At this point, they're
Right.
not friends.
And we soon find out that Lieutenant Dan is really pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do with this dude.
Yeah, they're back at the hospital
Yeah, they're
now.
both laid up.
Eating ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as much ice cream
Forrest
as you
is.
can.
Yeah.
He said that's the best part about getting shot in the buttocks. Mm-hmm. All the ice cream.
Right. And he's bunked right next to Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
The dude that does not want to see him at all.
No.
We find out pretty quick Dan has no legs.
No.
Right.
Well, he actually, they're like, they're
He got
removed
half
just
legs.
above the knee.
Just above the knee. Right.
And, yeah, Dan's not a very happy man.
No.
Right.
No, he's upset. He really wanted to live up to the legacy and die in the war.
You know, I thought about that watching that. And I think he wanted to be the very best soldier he could be. But in the event that something terrible happened to him, he was prepared to die
That
there.
was his
Yeah.
legacy. You know.
But let's
No, man, the dude was on the phone calling in an airstrike to him.
Right.
Right.
You know,
was.
he had all intentions of, I'm
Well,
fixing
he had
to-
already lost his legs at that point. though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, my thought process, let's say he's out there and he goes through Vietnam and his platoon is the most badass platoon ever made and they just dominate all the enemy and they all go home together.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think that would have messed with him?
That he wasn't there to,
That he didn't die there?
I don't know.
I think either
I think
way
so.
he would have wanted to die. I think that it was just his
I
legacy.
think that was what he was going, I mean,
It was already
What happened-
preconceived
he
notion,
wanted-
I'm
yeah,
gonna die
yeah,
out here.
he
He
had to die
wanted
there.
another generation
Yeah.
of people in his family to talk about how he died in war too. I think.
Yeah.
That's a family tradition. All these guys served in all these wars
Oh,
and died.
they probably have like pictures hung up in the home.
Right.
I mean, and that's not something, you never see him tell that story to Forrest. But if he's told this story to Forrest and Forrest is private,
It's a big deal.
it's a big deal
Yeah,
that
he's a FNG.
someone from every war has fought and died.
Right.
All right, I'll give you that.
But yeah, so turns out, 4 dudes were saved. He gets all of Jenny's letters back. He's been writing Jenny
Yeah.
this whole time.
Yeah, stack of letters.
Yeah, big fat stack.
This is where I start thinking,
Fuck Jenny.
bitch,
I hate this
right?
bitch. You know, like I start really not liking her anymore at this point. In fact, when he gets those letters back, I never like Jenny again.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing she can do, even later on when she bangs him or whatever. she doesn't ever bring herself back. And it's not even her fault that the letters are coming. She's not staying at grandma's
she doesn't
or
have a place of residence.
yeah, she does. He doesn't. She doesn't know she's getting letters, but he made it a point to tell her.
I'll write
I
you
write
every
you
day.
every
I write
day.
you all the time. You know,
In that
like-
scene though, when he says I'll write you every day or all the time, she's getting in the truck and she doesn't know her destination.
No, she's dipping out.
Yeah, so I was like, where's Forrest gonna send these letters?
Well,
I just
I think
assume
he
he sent
sent them
them
to send them to grandma's.
Yeah.
Send them to the travel trailer at grandma's.
Well, these all come back to him and they're all stamped like unable to deliver.
Right,
Yeah.
return to sender, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It totally changes my perception of Jenny. Up until that point, I just was like, yeah, she's just a hippie, and they're just buddies. But then I like start seeing her for who she is.
Right.
She's out doing her thing.
Pretty
Fuck Forrest
nasty.
Gump. Yeah.
Oh, he gets introduced to ping pong for the first time. Yeah. He's over watching some stupid show, and this guy's like, "Yo, man, check out this ping pong." You know. Of course, he's eating ice cream when he does it. It's
Yeah.
great.
He said Lieutenant Dan comes to watch him. Lieutenant Dan is so depressed.
He just lays in bed,
laying
staring
in
out the
bed,
window.
staring out the window.
Yeah.
Pissed that he really just wanted to die there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pissed.
Well, we find out right after he gets introduced to ping pong. We get a quick lesson that he walks us through the fact that he picked it up like a duck in water, even though he doesn't know what that means.
Right. Yeah.
But he's laying in bed, and here comes Lieutenant Dan, just like hops up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
snatches him, pulls him to the ground,
Drags his ass out of bed. Yeah.
and goes on a pretty long tirade about how pissed off he is.
And
Yeah.
how he robbed him of his destiny.
Yeah. And then they kind of have a touching moment towards the end there.
Yeah.
I like the
Forrest
whole-
didn't think he was doing anything wrong. He was just trying to save him.
Well, and he
you
wasn't
know.
doing anything.
And it's like I think Forrest made it all better to a point whenever Dan said, I was Lieutenant Dan Taylor, and Forrest tells him, you're still Lieutenant
You
Dan.
are Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Lieutenant Dan's like, yeah, this guy's he's a little off, but he had nothing but good in his heart.
Well, I take it a different way. I perceive that line, because he's like, basically speaking in past tense that I was Lieutenant Dan, and he might even be talking about his military career and how it's over, and he's no longer going to be a lieutenant. But I take it as Forrest almost was like, well, you're still the same dude.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, nothing's wrong. I mean,
Right.
yeah, your legs are messed up. And Dan even says that. He's like, do you know what it's like not to have use of your legs or
Yeah.
whatever?
He's like,
And
yeah.
he was like, yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he has to change his tune and be like, well, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You've robbed me of my destiny is what I'm getting at. It's not
Right.
necessarily the fact that I don't have legs now. It's the fact that I was supposed to die in Vietnam and now I'm not dead.
Right.
Lieutenant
And a lot
Dan,
of my platoon is dead.
right.
Almost all, well,
All of them,
All of them,
except
but
for those four.
yeah.
Forrest and 3 other dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan is my favorite character arc in this movie.
I like him a
Yeah.
lot. He's got a lot of one-liners, good singers, good.
He does.
I mean, he's American.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell he's American.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can really tell later.
It's good stuff. He, by the way, Gary Sinise, from what I could tell, he's a great guy. Like, does a lot of stuff for like veterans. Like going to USO shows and shit like that. And yeah, seems like a straight up, a pretty fine dude. So.
Well, he after the scene where we were talking about where they're in the middle of the night, like something happens. Maybe he gets named to the Army or the All-American ping pong team or something, and he goes to tell Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan's gone.
He's gonna get the Medal of
No,
Honor.
yeah, it's the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get the Medal of Honor. So he goes to tell Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan's gone. So
Sometime-
you're telling me the guy who had the W amputee got
Yeah.
discharged before the guy who had the flesh
Shot in
wound?
the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, they went in and sent him back.
Yeah.
But the dude with the butt, he's.
Dude with the butt. Well, he was still in the military.
They were still in Vietnam too, so
Yeah,
maybe they planned
yeah.
on rehabbing him and putting him back out
putting
there.
him back
Mm-hmm.
out.
I get that. Okay.
I actually wrote down Moons Johnson, and I was like, who the fuck is Moons Johnson?
Yeah, no, he mooned Johnson.
Yeah.
He goes to see President Johnson.
Second time he's met the president.
President
Yeah.
number 2.
Kennedy.
Now Johnson. Lyndon Johnson.
And he puts the Medal of Honor around for his neck and asks him where he was shot.
Yeah.
And he said, I was shot in my butt talk, sir.
Yeah.
Must be a sight.
Yeah, he's like,
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
So
he does.
Whips it out.
Whips his butt out.
and Lyndon Johnson's like, God damn, boy.
Yeah.
It takes off watching. You asked for it.
You
What
gotta
do mean?
spell this stuff out to this dude, bro.
Well, I don't understand. I bet when he said must be a sight. Okay, I get that. But then he said, "I'd like to see that."
Yeah.
Why? Why would you like to
Why
see
would you want to
that?
see a flesh wound in a
You know,
butt?
when they're sitting on the bench and he's talking about it, the older big guy
Uh-huh.
that comes in, he's sitting there talking to Forrest. He's telling the story. Forrest tells him he's the one that chimes in, and he's like, "It was a bullet that jumped up and bit you," and he was like, "Yes, sir, right in the buttocks." They call it a $1 million wound, but the army must keep that money because I haven't
I ain't
seen a
seen
nickel
dollar
of
of
that $1 million. That shit cracks me up.
Yeah.
If you don't
Army
know why
must
it's
keep that money.
if you don't know why it's called $1 million wound, it's because it's basically the best place to get injured.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a flesh wound, and you're still out of the fight.
Right. He decides to take it upon himself to check out these scenes, the scenic view of Washington, D.C. And there's, I don't know if it's a historical thing or if it's just some random protest. That's
No,
taking
it's a
place.
real thing.
Oh, really? On
Yeah.
the mall there?
Yeah, it's a real thing that happened, and I don't know where I wanted to Google who that dude with the afro is
Oh.
because he's
Forrest Gump.
somebody.
Yeah.
He's somebody. Like
Yeah.
in history, he's someone. Like that was an event. I don't. Of course, the Forrest part's edited in, but
Well, yeah.
you know what I mean. But that was something that went down.
Okay.
So Forrest gets grabbed up and basically wrangled into a line of
Shuffled into these
vets.
guys, yeah.
The bus organization says Vets Against Vietnam, and he gets slammed in there. By the time they get to the stage, they move him to the front of the line because he's still active duty.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, this is such a great thing you're doing for us, man. It's amazing. Blah blah. He gets up there, and the dude with the afro, who's wearing an American flag shirt,
Yeah. He liked to say the F word.
yeah,
He did. He dropped the F on the line.
fucking Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he gets Forrest up there, and Forrest starts to talk, and then the mics get pulled.
Yeah, this local cop sees what's going on and like yanks all these wires out of there.
No, dude, that was a general.
He had a little shield on his,
Yeah, he had like a
his
badge.
thing. Yeah,
Oh, it was a badge?
I think he was
thought-
just a cop.
I thought it was an army guy.
He's wanting to mess with him, yeah. And so he yanked all these wires out of these
Yeah.
amplifiers and stuff.
You know it's a cop later because the female protester takes his baton.
Oh yeah, it takes his baton from him and starts trying to whack it at him.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Man, where was I?
So do you guys know what Forrest was saying? What he said?
Oh no, I have no idea.
I've read the things that they say he could be saying, but I don't know if that's what he's saying.
I saw you Googling over there. I wasn't sure what it was.
I had read about it before, so I was curious what it said. Basically, there's apparently a scene somewhere in lost footage where he records it at full volume.
Yeah.
So you can't hear what he's saying. But he says about Vietnam, sometimes when you go to Vietnam, they go home to their mamas without any legs, and sometimes they don't go home at all. That's a bad thing. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But it felt like he talked for longer than that.
it did.
It did.
And not only that, he
Pretty
starts
talk
it out
slow.
and he says in Vietnam, and then he's like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like it starts out. I read that though,
Yeah.
and I had read it years ago when I was.
Sounds like something Forrest would say though.
It would. It
does.
is. It's simple. It's not like a speech, like an anti-war speech
Right.
or nothing. It's just something simple about his experience in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Jenny comes out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
comes running out of the mall. You bet.
That pissed me off.
This bitch.
No.
Yeah,
Running into the
she
water.
stole the whole stage.
Yeah.
He
Comes
just said
out
this
of the
big,
woodwork.
yeah, Forrest,
Right.
and then he fucking Forrest Gumps his ass down into the water.
Yeah.
I wonder how quick you would get tackled if you ran through that in real life.
Oh, pretty quick.
I've been there.
Could you run through that water without like some sort of security?
I mean, it's a
tackling you up?
big pool of water. Don't get me wrong.
There's definitely like people that they're like national park employees though
Yeah.
that like stroll around the monuments and stuff.
Well, surely you're not supposed to walk.
No,
through that.
there's signs up
Yeah.
and stuff like no wading in the water,
Right.
and stuff like that.
But in a
But
pool.
I wonder if this
I don't
is
remember
why
seeing,
there's
like-
signs up.
maybe
Maybe.
after Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
everybody
Everybody thought they could just
Yeah.
run through there.
maybe.
I've had a different take on Jenny, and I don't know if this is the time to bring it up or maybe later on. Somebody on the internet, I think it might have been on Facebook, was actually, because there was like this Jenny meme about how she's like this nasty chick, you know, and all this other stuff. What I find interesting is that they in the movie, her character, I think that her perception was is as a child, her innocence was basically taken away from her at an early age. And she sees Forrest as like the embodiment of innocence, you know, because he's not like jaded or has like horrible thoughts about people and stuff like that. And so somebody online said that their opinion of her was that she was unwilling to take away the innocence from Forrest Gump, like her dad took away hers, basically. And so she has feelings for him, and she'll try to go out and, like, you know, embrace him and stuff like that, but she doesn't want to be the same person that her dad was.
Well, I can see that point of view for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, she had obviously the worst kind of childhood.
Well, not only that, like, she knows she's bad and she knows this Forrest is good.
And she says that to him, like, right after the scene we're discussing.
Yeah.
They spend the night walking through the monuments, and Forrest says that he's pretty much just telling her all his awesome stories, and she's just pretty much listening. And at the end of the night, or no, then they go to
The Black Panther
Black
party.
Panther party.
yeah. I jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
I almost forgot all about the Black Panther
Yeah,
party.
they go to this
Black Panther party.
Black Panther party. I think it's hilarious because there's this dude wearing this beret with this leather jacket on, just screaming all this stuff about racism and all this. And Forrest is like, I don't know what this dude's talking about at all.
And it's funny because that dude turns around, he walks across the room, and then they're having another conversation.
Then he comes right
and
back.
then the dude comes right back in the
Starts
beret,
screaming
barking
again.
more shit at him. Like, goddamn, man, I thought you just reamed his ass,
him
and
a
now
break.
you're doing it again, raping our women.
Yeah. And I guess Jenny's with this guy named Wes.
Well, when he's getting the second ass chewing,
Yeah.
like, Forrest is even looking at the Black Panther member.
Yeah.
He's just staring at Jenny and this dude Wes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they take off into another room. You can still see him. Yeah.
Sees him slap her, slaps her
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And that puts
You
him
can
on
see
edge.
like the
Forrest
rage,
engaged.
Yeah, third
Right.
time Forrest engaged.
Yeah.
Beats the shit out of that dude.
Yeah, he does that several times throughout the film.
Yeah, he don't like people fucking with Jenny. He'll punch the shit out of you
He
with that
will.
right hand.
So then that's when they go
Oh,
out. Oh, the
he
line.
says, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party.
That's classic.
I love it. Man, that's so funny.
Because he thought it was a party.
Yeah. He heard Black Panther party, and so
Yeah, he
thinks
didn't. He
they're
doesn't
having a
realize
party.
what's going on. No, he has
Not a political organization.
No.
Yeah.
So then they go out and they're walking around the memorials all night long.
Yeah.
Forrest is basically telling her his story. She's just
Yeah.
kind of listening.
Gives her his Medal of Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Says, what?
Stupidest move ever.
That's dumb as shit.
He gave it to her. Well, first of all, guys, he loves her.
I'm surprised she didn't
Yeah.
sell it for crack.
He said he...
She did sell it for crack, I guarantee it. Does she give it back
They
later?
show it
I don't
later
think
on,
so.
yeah, when
Oh,
she
okay.
leaves the house. Yeah, she still has
okay.
it.
Good.
He says that I only got this because
1
I did
point
what
for
you
him.
said, which was run.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And technically that's not true.
He says...
Because he did run and then he came back, but whatever.
He says, then Wes that he beat up earlier was like, I'll never hurt you, Jenny. And Forrest says, you know what I think? You should go back to Greenbow, Alabama!
Yeah.
So one time you like see him like really assert
Yeah,
himself.
he gets pissed off.
He gets loud too, yeah. I can't believe that bus says Berkeley to DC. Like, that's a long ways to take a bus.
California to Washington, man.
It's like that's a 50, 60 hour bus ride, man. Probably longer than
really
that.
bad, yeah, because that's
I mean, it's
San
24 from
Francisco,
here to
so-
California, and it's about 26 from here to New York.
22.
So I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at like
2 days of driving.
48 hours straight drive across
Driving,
country in a
no
bus.
stopping. Yeah, you know they're gonna stop. So
A bunch
we're
of
talking.
stinky hippies.
They ain't got a shower on the
showered
bus.
for days.
Yeah, everybody smelled like
Riding around.
patchouli and pot. You know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what the patchouli's there to cover up all that smell.
yeah.
Protesting the war, man.
That's it.
That's our parents' generation right there. It was my mom's generation, anyways.
My parents were kind of wrapped up in that. They gave it up early '80s. But yeah, they were into it. My dad had an afro, which is hilarious.
Oh God, I want to see your dad with the afro.
I'll have to show you their wedding picture sometime. It's great. So she asked him, you know, why are you so good to me and all that. He says, because you're my girl.
You're my girl.
And she's like, well, I'll always be your girl. And then she dips out.
Yeah. Leaves
Looks
him
like you're
again.
Wes's girl, but
Gonna
whatever.
go with this woman beater and
Right. Get some bust dick.
So he goes on. What's he going on?
His All-American ping pong team. He
Does that comes after he gets the Congressional Medal of Honor? He's still in the military.
Yeah, he's still doing a military thing.
Yeah.
He goes as they have the ping pong guys. They wind up going on some talk show with John Lennon.
well, he goes and plays ping pong in China.
Yeah, goes
He
to
does, yeah.
China.
He
First
does.
people in China in a million years or something like that.
Yeah. And yeah, so he plays ping pong in China.
He goes on
to the
Captain
show.
Kangaroo. That's what he's telling. That's
Oh, was
what
it Captain
is.
Kangaroo?
I think so. He was like famouser than even Captain Kangaroo, you know.
I like
and
Captain
then he's-
Kangaroo was like a kid show.
It is.
Yeah,
It's more famous. than
Yeah,
Captain
it's more
Kangaroo.
famous.
Yeah.
So who was the talk
I have
show
no
that he
idea.
was on?
I know
that was just
John
a
Lennon
late
was smoking
show.
cigarettes on the stage.
Yeah.
But that's a real show.
Yeah,
Oh, sure, yeah. And I'm
it
sure
was a
John Lennon
late
was
show,
there.
but it wasn't like a.
It might have been the precursor to like Johnny Carson or
It
something.
must have been.
That's before my time though, so.
I don't know. It'd have been like what 60 something, 66. No, before that, 62.
I mean,
Probably
yeah.
62.
I would say 69 because it was right after that they show him like playing the ping pong and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the moon landing is taking place, but everybody's watching him do his thing.
Yeah.
So I think it was closer to like the 1969ish.
Yeah.
While Mike is finding that, apparently he gives John Lennon
Oh,
the
yeah.
inspiration for
He
his
invented Imagine.
Yeah.
The Dick Cavett show.
The Dick Cavett show.
Yeah.
He Dick Habit.
Yeah,
Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett.
That's what
That's a great
Jenny
name.
was doing. Was
Yeah.
Dick having it.
Yeah, she was Dick having it. God, that bitch.
But
She's
oh
the
man,
worst.
what is it? He winds up running across Lieutenant Dan in New York City. Did they say why he was in New York City? I guess it was for that show.
I think
For the
he
Dick
moved to New York City when he came back
It must be
Like-
you wouldn't think he would be
from New York.
enjoying New York City at all.
You wouldn't think so, but I think that's where he came back to from the war. He was there already.
I figured that,
You could tell by how long his hair was, how long his beard was, how drunk he was, and how hobo-ish he looked.
Oh,
that he
Lieutenant
had
Dan,
been-
yeah.
He had been in New York
Right.
for a
I
while.
was wondering what Forrest was doing there, but I guess it was just
Just
after
the
he got
show.
done with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally he walked out of the Dick Cavett like
That's what it was.
set and
Yeah,
there
out
was
of the
Lieutenant
back of the
Dan.
show.
Right. Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan's pissed he got the Medal of
Medal of
Honor.
Honor.
They gave you a Congressional Medal of Honor.
The man who embarrasses himself on national TV. Yeah. So they end up going to drink. It's around like Christmas time. They
Yeah.
go out for a drink, and he tells Lieutenant Dan that he's gonna be a shrimp boat captain because that was his deal with Bubba before
Yeah,
Bubba
he
died.
promised it to him that they
Yeah.
were going to be partners.
You jumped over one of my favorite parts of the scene where he talked about on the account that Lieutenant Dan had no legs, he worked out his arms a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
beat off joke thrown in the middle of the movie there.
But Forrest didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think it was a beat-off joke.
Oh, it is.
I think it's an alcoholic joke.
He could be.
Could
I
be.
think it's a drinking joke.
Maybe he's drinking
Lieutenant Dan-
while he beats off.
Lieutenant Dan definitely has some guns.
Yeah.
He's definitely been
around.
working his arms out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always took that as a drinking joke.
Yeah.
2 12-ounce girls.
Could be.
Yeah.
12 ounce girl. There you go. He doesn't believe that Forrest is going to be a shrimp boat captain.
No.
Tells him the day you be your
Discredits
shrimp
it
boat captain,
immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, the day you do that, I'll be
your first mate. Yeah. And so then it's like New Year's Eve, whatever. And whenever they're drinking at this bar, they meet a couple girls there. I think Lieutenant Dan already knows them.
Yeah, Longlegs Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the other one's name, but I've always remembered Longlegs Lenore. Because it's just
I think it's Long Limbs Lenore.
Long Limbs Lenore.
Yeah.
Arms and legs.
But I can't remember the other girl's name either.
No.
Yeah.
I know
Her
that.
name.
I don't know which one was Lenore, but the blondie was looking all right.
The one that Forrest was kissing on was Long Limbs.
Oh, was
Or
it?
Long Legs.
Yeah, she was all right looking.
She was Triple L. That was Forrest's hookup for the night.
right.
She tasted
Yeah,
like
she's-
cigarettes. It wasn't happening.
She was the wingman. Yeah.
Yeah, he pushes her straight off of him.
She
She
called
says,
him
"What are you, stupid or something?"
Yeah.
Then Lieutenant Dan throws the other chick off of him.
Oh yeah, he's
pissed.
pissed.
Don't you call him stupid?
That's a.
That's where they
great
first.
part
That's
of
where
his-
you first feel like they become friends, right
Mm-hmm.
there.
That's a great part of his character arc because this whole time, all he's doing is talking shit
Yeah.
to Forrest.
Yeah, to me, this scene is really big.
He's
you know?
defending him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure once you spend
when
New
they
Year's,
become friends.
if you and I spent the night out on New Year's
Christmas,
Eve,
New Year's.
yeah, and we're out drinking and whoring together, we're
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. Well, I think at this part, he was still very prideful and very angry about his
He's
thing,
mad.
but he had
He's
realized that it's better than being dead. You
Yeah.
know. So.
Well, I don't think he realizes that until later because
Right.
he's still
You think so?
drinking like real heavy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's till
I don't think until the storm.
Shrimp boat days. Shrimp boat days, I think is when.
Shrimp boat day. Yeah.
I don't even think then. I think it's the storm's what gets him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. So yeah, I wrote down sex in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but you gotta take the sidearms off of that thing or something, you know.
He falls out of his chair defending Forrest. That's how important.
Yeah, he
it
does.
is. Like that's how riled up he's gotten. And you know, just maybe 2 or 3 scenes before he was calling him an idiot and
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and Gary Sinise actually did the whole movie with his legs tied like that.
Yeah, with those blue socks on
Yeah.
and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh god, that had to be hurt.
yeah, dude.
I don't know. Just trying to portray not having legs whenever you do have legs, I would think would be a really difficult task.
It'd be hard
you
not
know?
to bend your. It'd be hard not to use what you have.
Use your legs, yeah.
It's hard not to use it unless you don't have it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
We get after that. That's when the ping pong team, the Army ping pong team, meets Nixon.
Yep. His third president.
Third president.
Third president.
I think. I'm just throwing this out there, but I think this is the last president he meets because of how he exposes Watergate.
So what happens? Yeah, Nixon's
He doesn't
asking
get
him where
to
he's
go back.
staying. Yeah.
He doesn't get to go back to any more presidents after this
You're done.
president.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of blew the lid right off Watergate,
He
so
did.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Nixon's asking him where he's staying. He's like, "Oh, I got a better room than that for you."
Yeah. Puts him in the Watergate hotel.
Yeah. What's great too is like Forrest doesn't think someone's breaking in there. He thinks there's a maintenance issue.
Yeah. He doesn't think anything bad's happening. He thinks the electric went out.
Yeah. They're looking for the fuse breaker.
They're looking for the fuse
Right.
box so they can turn the lights on.
And the flashlights they're waving around are keeping them up all night.
Right.
You might want to send some maintenance people over there. Exposes Watergate. He's banned from White House.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
House
go.
off limits.
I'm gonna say that's a pretty solid assumption.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the last time. We can't have this boy here.
Right. He's a problem maker.
So the third fucking time he's been here.
Right.
The third time he's made a scene.
Yeah.
He
whooped his
almost
butt
pissed
out.
on Kennedy. He mooned Johnson, and now he just disclosed Watergate.
We get to see where he gets discharged from the military after that.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
runs, steals the
Steals
military
ping pong paddle. Fuck that. This is mine.
Stealing government property.
Felony.
Dang.
Yeah, it happens all the time. But
Well, I'm sure it does.
I think it's funny that he's like running, like trying to conceal the fact he got nobody cares about your stupid ass ping pong paddle,
Yeah.
you know. But he thinks it's a big deal because he's never stolen before. We get to
He runs home.
He does well.
I mean, he
It's a
does.
ways.
Yeah, I just assume he gets all the way places running.
He
Yeah.
said it at the beginning of the movie. From
I
then
was
on,
running.
if I was going anywhere, I was running.
Yeah, I think that's every time.
Yeah, no, it is. You can see him running.
Oh lordy.
But why would he be at the bus stop later trying to catch a bus?
True that.
You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he have just been running to the address the whole time?
He didn't want to mess up his linen suit.
Man, fuck that. His shoes were all dirty. Like
True
he
that.
ran there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He had the specific instructions to take the number 9.
Yeah,
bus.
maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was like solid orders.
Yeah.
Jenny's like, he's gonna fuck this up.
Yeah.
Follow everything I tell you. Yeah. He gets home and finds out that he's become like the spokesperson for all this ping pong shit, and he's got a check waiting for him for $25,000.
This is when I realized his eyes are closed in every photo of him.
Never noticed.
Throughout the entirety of the movie, Forrest Gump's eyes are closed in every picture.
Like the flash is going, and he like does.
No,
the
they're
thing.
just like this.
That's freaking
His eyes
great.
closed, smiled.
I never noticed.
Yeah, every
In
picture.
what? What are you talking about?
Every picture of Forrest Gump that they show of him throughout the film, his eyes are closed.
I never noticed.
Like
that.
a photo of him?
Like a
Yeah,
photo.
like
yeah.
what-
Photos of him
like
in
all
the
the-
newspaper?
Yeah,
newspaper or
his eyes are
whatever.
always closed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's freaking funny. So like on the when he's on like Newsweek and all that shit
Yeah,
or
his
whatever.
eyes are closed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Damn, I never noticed that either.
Come on,
Here you are,
expert.
It's
Mr.
crazy.
PhD.
Seen it 300 some times. Never noticed that on the,
Oh man.
something new every day, man.
Yeah. He winds up going to Bubba's grave.
Does.
Tells him all about how he's taking that $25,000. He bought a new suit and got a haircut.
Yeah, he's got a little less than 25 grand.
Took
Like,
mom on a fancy dinner.
about
Yeah.
400. He spent $400 somewhere.
And some change, yeah. And he's gonna use that money and buy a boat.
Some gas.
Yeah, some gas, some new nets, and all that shit. Yeah. He,
Bubba's mama immediately thinks he's Stupid.
Are you stupid?
The guy that sells him the boat
Are you stupid?
immediately thinks
Stupid
he's
is stupid does, sir.
Yeah. He just keeps telling him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any luck with shrimping.
No. Got
Shrimping
5.
is tough.
He got 5.
The old man
Catch a
was like,
couple more and get you a cocktail.
Hey, listen, I lose my shit. For 24 years, I've lost my shit at that part every time when he says, I caught 5. I fucking can't control it. Like, it fucking cracks me up.
he's holding it up like a little kid, too.
Yeah, he's got 5 of
I like where the guy's like, catch a couple more and you can
Get a
your
cocktail.
And he like just takes and like drops it. Like this dude just popped his balloon, you know? That's really funny.
He's worked all day.
Yeah,
Slaving
busted
on
his
this boat.
ass. Yeah.
He's got toilet seats, buckets,
Finds an army helmet.
old army helmets, but he's got 5 shrimp.
Right.
Yeah, I caught 5.
Yeah.
It fucking cracks me up.
We see where like Jenny is now like strung the fuck out. She's,
Yeah.
like messing with heroin and stuff.
Went on
Well, some
cocaine.
kind of needles. I assume is heroin.
Well, she's at the disco first doing lines.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
doing lines at
she
the
is.
disco first.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the hotel where she's obviously some type of heroin high.
Nah.
Yeah.
The guy that she's with definitely is. Because we see him use it.
Yeah.
And then she's like staring into oblivion.
See, and this is where I get lost with Jenny because there's another scene that they're same basic thing, but the one dude has fucking smacked her around again.
Oh, you're talking, that was the New Year's scene. That's
okay.
Forrest is with the New
They're
Year's
cutting
with
back to-
Lieutenant
Oh
Dan.
yeah,
too.
when they were at New Year's, Lieutenant Dan, and then she's
Her New Year's, she got
was
smacked
getting
around.
smacked around,
Right.
smearing some cocaine on the thing.
No, that smearing the cocaine was a different scene. That was the drug scene.
Yeah, that was she like rubbed her hand in it, or because they had lines doled out, and then
Yeah.
she like grabbed like put her hand in it or
And
whatever.
walked to the
and-
balcony.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then she's thinking about flying, quote
I got
unquote.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which for you guys that don't know, I just made air quotes for no reason.
So she almost dies because she slips on the balcony.
Yeah. And then
I thought, originally I thought she was going to jump. Like,
did
I
too.
can remember the feeling of
shit.
being like 11 or 12
Yeah.
and thinking this girl is going to jump off of this thing right here.
Yep.
Because she was talking about being a bird and flying earlier. She stands up on the bridge and talks about being a bird before Forrest goes to Vietnam. And now she's standing on the balcony.
she's gonna do it,
She's going to jump now.
Yeah.
3rd time's the charm.
and she's
super high.
inebriated. Yeah,
Mhm.
like strung out, you know. So she ain't thinking clear.
Well, we grew up on stories too of people like in New York City getting super high and jumping out their
Jumping
windows
out
thinking they
windows,
can
yeah.
fly.
We did.
So we're sitting there thinking like this is getting ready to happen.
Right? That's some dare shit there. Yeah.
And she actually, I don't know her real name, but she
Robin
played
Wright.
it. She had to have lost some weight for these
was looking-
scenes.
Like fluctuating in weight.
Yeah,
Like her
for these scenes.
Cheeks,
Because
cheeks were.
I mean, I know
sucking in.
makeup could do but her arms were tiny.
Mhm.
Like they were they seemed really tiny when she's trying to hold on to the top of that
To the thing.
balcony up there.
Mhm.
You know, it was kind of like she looked like she was really tiny.
Emaciated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I noticed that her hair was different every time we saw her.
Yeah.
Every scene that Jenny's in, her hair is different.
Yeah, for sure.
It is like staying with the times. Like you could tell what year it was based on Jenny's haircut.
She wore the same dress pretty much the whole time.
Right. But
Her
Jenny's
same
haircut.
style of dress, but her hair was always changing.
Yeah. That's how you knew what year it was.
And until the late years, and then she
Right.
was in a
When
different-
she put on her mom garb.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get cut back to Forrest where now he's out doing his shrimp boat thing and freaking Lieutenant Dan shows up.
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell are you doing out here?
So
Jumps off of his boat. So excited.
Just swim straight
Boat's
to
still
Dan,
running. Yep.
which later crashes into one of the docks.
Yeah, it's great. And he said, I told you that if you're going to be a shrimp boat captain, I would be first mate. And
Made good on his promise.
He did.
You know, that's
He
two buddies making good on promises.
Mm-hmm.
I like the
Good moral compass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole movie is chocked full of it, but
Like morality,
that's part of
yeah.
it, you know.
I was focused more on I'm gonna try my sea legs out and be like, but Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
Lieutenant doesn't. I know.
They keep going back to it, you know. He's like, yeah, don't forget, he's still not right.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't learned anything new
No.
yet about the world.
Pretty damn slow still on the uptake.
Yeah.
He so they go out and Lieutenant Dan's trying to tell him where to go to pick up shrimp and all that. They don't find shit out there. And he's like, maybe you should pray to your God for some shrimp. Forrest goes to church and he's singing in the choir.
In a gospel choir.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure his singing voice is just gorgeous too, you know?
It looks like he's really trying.
He goes
though.
every Sunday.
Yeah.
He says, I go every Sunday.
And he said even Lieutenant Dan would go sometimes.
Yeah, he's sitting in the back with his bottle.
Drinking
it
a
was like
fifth, yeah.
Beam or something. It wasn't even like Jim Beam. I think it was like Beam Star or
Just that
something.
nasty
Yeah, it
stuff.
was some terrible liquor.
Yeah. And
They're back on the boat.
Mhm.
Dan calls out God.
yeah.
And then right then a hurricane hits.
Yeah.
Hurricane hits.
And this is one of the most iconic images in the whole film for me.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Agreed.
Lieutenant Dan sitting on that mast, holding on to that rope, talking mad shit to
American
Christ.
flag going.
Yeah, there's an American flag just blowing 100 miles an hour behind him.
He's just holding onto that rope.
He's got that long hair tied back with a bandana, amputated legs dangling.
Looking like a badass,
Yeah.
really, yeah.
And I was just like, man, that dude is so American.
He's screaming like, "You're gonna have to sink. You
Yeah,
can't sink this
you're
boat."
not
and all
gonna
that
sink
stuff.
You and me, one on one.
Yeah,
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 it was a
it's
good one.
good stuff. And so, this hurricane takes out all but their one boat.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily that it led them to the shrimp. It kind of destroyed everything
competition.
around
Competition
them.
was gone.
Yeah.
They got a monopoly on it.
Like Forrest was in there praying for shrimp, and instead of getting a nice spot of shrimp to go get, you got
Right.
we're just gonna knock out all of them.
God loves Forrest Gump.
That
basically.
much.
Take out all the
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We get to
yeah,
where
we gotta squeeze them out and be all right.
that's it, man.
And they're getting it by the boatload.
Yeah, I was thinking while I was watching this, I was like, man, imagine the price of shrimp like skyrocketed
Skyrockets
after
and all
that.
of it,
Yeah. So they just have mountains of shrimp, and they open up this company. They apparently have a whole fleet of boats.
12 Jennies.
Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
Bubba Gump Shrimp. That's it. Which let me ask you, was Bubba? I don't remember hearing the name Bubba Gump Shrimp before the movie.
No,
that
it wasn't.
The
okay.
franchise was after the movie.
It definitely
Okay.
came.
That's
back.
what I was wondering, because they made it sound like it was something that you should know, and I was like, well, they kind of play with reality in this movie. I didn't know if it came before or after, you know.
It definitely wasn't around before.
Okay.
And it was actually a while after.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say a good 5 years.
Apparently they're all like Forrest Gump themed on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all pictures
Yeah.
and newspaper articles and
Ask
stuff.
you questions.
My,
I've been to them.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I've never been.
My wife and I think your fiance actually went and did like a
One,
quiz night.
Yeah, Cancun
Quiz
or
bowl
something
thing, yeah,
like
and they
that.
said that if you answer all the questions, like 10 questions right, they would pay for your food, and they missed the last one. Sucks, but yeah. He goes back.
Well, Lieutenant Dan thanks
thanks him for
thanks-
saving his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, like, well,
He doesn't thank him. He
You're right.
doesn't thank him. He never thanks him.
You're right.
He just brings to his attention
Oh, I
that
never
he has
told you.
never thanked him.
Mhm.
He's like, he just says, "I've never thanked you for saving my life."
Yeah. Then he hops in the water. So he didn't really.
He
say
never. He never thanked
Never
him.
did.
Still yet.
Nope.
No, not to this day. Goddamn Dan.
We find out that Mama is sick, and she has cancer. She is in the process of dying currently, and so there's this whole scene where he asked her about fate and stuff like that, and she says that dying is just part of life, and you have to kind of make your own fate.
And we create our own destiny.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And Lieutenant Dan has always said, that you have a set destiny.
Right. And so she dies, and
On a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday. That's it. Right after that, he talks a little bit about how quiet the house was and all that other stuff, but he apparently got a
You know,
job.
it was the same doctor.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, we
The
straightened you
doctor-
up, boy.
The doctor
Put
that
his braces on?
smoking in the early 50s,
Yeah.
straightening him up, smoked the whole time,
Yeah.
and
25 years later or whatever.
Yeah, 25 years. Well, Tom Hanks is like 40, but yeah, it's supposed to be like 25 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
And the doctor's still just docking it up, and she's over here dying of cancer, never smoked.
It's fucked up world.
Yeah.
It is.
Which the doctor, not only does he smoke, but this dude's morbidly obese too. Yeah.
He's
At least healthy dude out there.
She's sick and dying.
Yeah. So we cut to where Forrest has now been hired on by the University of Alabama to mow their lawns. And What is it? Is that at the point where he talks about his investments and
Yeah,
all that
it says
Dan-
Lieutenant Dan
Dan's
taking
in-
care of their shrimp money.
Yeah.
He invested in
and
some
he
fruit
invested in
company.
a fruit company, yeah.
It's Apple.
Apple.
Right. Which, man, I
Said you
love-
don't have to worry about money no more, and that was good.
One less
Just
thing.
one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. He made sure that Bubba's family was taken care of.
Yeah.
They didn't have to serve food anymore.
He gave him half the share,
Yeah. Significant.
half that company, which he
She
said he
never
was.
had to cook again.
Yeah, she had a white lady cooking for her after that.
Yeah.
I think looking back, man, like in the early 80s, like Apple would have been a great company to get on the ground floor with. But buying it in like the early 90s would have been the way to freaking go, dude. Like, because they were almost out of business on, you know, for a long stretch, and then just blew up, you know, after that. But that's whatever. We get to see where Jenny finally comes back.
She
Again.
just strolls into the house.
Yup.
Hi, Forrest.
Sauntering
Hi, Jenny.
up.
Heard your mama was dead. No, she doesn't say that, but it was like odd that his second big loss. Now, Bubba's dead.
Mom's dead.
Mama's dead. Here comes this bitch.
Yeah. He's out there mowing the lawn in like full pants and like a full button up long sleeve shirt, I noticed. Why would you mow in that in Alabama in the summer?
He wears that a lot in
He
the
does.
movie. It's his style. He sticks to it.
I think the only time he wears shorts is when he's running, actually.
They say that the more you're covered, the
cooler it
heat,
is.
the cooler you are.
Yeah, well, it draws sweat to the layers, and then that
Right.
cools you from the
Get
breeze.
that breeze going, yeah. So we, they're just hanging out. Her and Forrest are, and they take walks.
They're
and-
peas and carrots again.
Yep. And one day they're out talking and walking. She strolls up to the house and gets really emotional and starts hucking rocks at this thing and, you know, getting all pissed off about it. And she buys him a new pair of shoes.
Nikes.
His Nikes.
Those Cortez, Bill.
That's it. And so then he asked her one night, they're watching the firecrackers for 4th of July on a TV. And he asked if she'll marry him. And she says no, and you know, all this other stuff, and I'm a bad person and all this other crap. And he's like, I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
I know what love is.
Mhm. And
She's just not having it right then. He goes out and he like puts his hands on his hips, all weird. They're like all
he's
backwards.
real huffy, like a
No, they're like
5-year-old.
all backwards, like holding his kidneys. It's
been
weird. I've
impaled.
always thought he did that. I was like, man,
Yeah.
why are you standing like that? It's so weird.
So she says no and everything, but then she still fucks him that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she goes up to the room.
She
sneaks
says,
in
"I
like
love
when they're
you."
Kids. Yeah.
She says, I love you, and fucks him. And then bounces the next morning.
Dips in the morning before he
Dips
gets
out.
up.
Bitch.
That's
He gets
when,
one piece of ass his whole life.
that's when I started to really like, fuck Jenny. But
Right.
she does leave the ping pong paddle, or she leaves the Medal of Honor sitting on top of his ping pong paddle.
Yeah.
Imagine though, I'm sure this dude was like a 2-pump chump at that point. Like, there wasn't-
I like to believe that he's ready to go.
I think so.
He shows us in the next.
Because when he was in college, I mean, what? He touched her boob, he nutted immediately. He's already,
Right.
she's already naked, and like he hadn't fucking.
right.
I assume he gets it on with her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was PG-13 in 1994.
I mean,
so
they have
we
a
don't
kid.
get to see
Well, that's all we see is her back.
Yeah.
For a split moment.
Yeah.
You could tell though instantly this dude's devastated.
Mm-hmm.
It's several shots of him just like standing in different places in the house, just staring. And something that reminds him of her.
I want to say he left at the very same time. Like, I don't think it was. I kind of want to think that it was. He stood around and was like upset for a week and then decided to run, but I don't think it was.
Well,
I
it
think,
shows him sitting
I
on the
think
porch
as soon
and
as
stuff
he
like that.
noticed that she was gone, he walked around, he looked, he sat on the porch, and immediately started running.
You mean like later that day?
Yeah, that same day.
I'm 100% in agreement with that.
Yeah.
I think he had himself a glass of milk. Then he went and looked at her room and stared at the flowers he picked for her yesterday. Then he went and sat on the porch for a second.
He's like,
Trying to
"Fuck
figure
this."
out how the hell he
Yeah.
got hit and ran.
Right.
Damn, she just hit it and ran on me.
Yeah, no. I thought we finally were there. I thought I finally was going to get my girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Got his way out of that friend zone. You bet.
And she dips.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
all the anxiety and like
Mama
panic
just died,
and
Bubba
depression,
died.
everything that building up inside of him was like, I gotta go run this shit off.
Yep.
Take off.
That's it. Takes off running. And he keeps running.
He runs back and forth across America at least 4 times
At least
across,
4 times.
Yeah,
and for just over 3 years.
right.
3 years, 2 months.
3
14
years, 2
days,
months, 14 days, 6
16
hours.
16 hours.
16 hours.
People
I did
start-
think it was funny. He makes it to that first ocean, and he's wearing the same shirt and like the same pants, but he like cut the legs off of him. He's wearing shorts now. I was
Yeah.
like, that's fucking funny.
Along the way, he invents the
Shit
shit
happens.
happens,
Shit happens
bumper
bumper
sticker,
sticker. Yeah.
the smiley face.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Nice day thing.
Yep. And so yeah, after that, he makes his way back home. It's a great scene because all these people start accumulating around him and following him. And
He's got like at least 100 people running with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And so finally he like stops and he's gonna say something, you know.
Yeah, they were waiting for like a prophecy.
Something great. Yeah. Like he's this deity or something.
yeah. Like it was, Jesus is gonna speak. now.
Right. He's like, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go home. Yeah.
And he just walks.
He's like, Mom, and they're in the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah.
You know, all these people are like,
One guy
"Oh,
yells
man.
at him like, "What are we gonna do now?"
Yeah.
What the fuck have y'all been doing running behind me this whole time?
I didn't ask you to follow me.
Yeah, I didn't like recruit you guys.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah. As it turns out, Jenny has actually seen him running on the news. Yeah. And so whenever he gets back home, I guess there's this servant that he has doing the upkeep on the house, and she's like, "Hey, you got this letter?" And it's
Same
just,
lady the
That's
whole
Miss
time.
Louise,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Same
like
lady the whole time.
part of the family practically.
Got you.
She's getting, and you can tell in this scene she's getting like old and decrepit,
Getting up there.
kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's a little humped over, and
Yeah.
she's getting a little sick.
Yeah, you got a letter from Jenny. Jenny wants to meet, and that's where he's sitting on a park bench. He's waiting for this bus to
That's
go
where he's been
to
the
her
whole
house.
movie.
Yeah.
So we've been watching for 2 hours at this point, pretty solid
Pretty
2
much,
hours.
yeah.
And that park
Let's
bench, he's been sitting there waiting to go see Jenny. That's what we find out. And he's only like 5 to 6 blocks away this
The
whole
whole time.
time.
This lady's telling the story. He's like, it's right over there. Yeah.
And this lady, by the way, the nicest lady of all the people,
She is.
she misses her bus completely.
Yeah.
And is willing to wait around
She wants to hear a story.
for his bus to come.
Yeah, he was like, "Didn't you say you're waiting for the number 7 bus?" And
Yeah.
she said, "There'll be another."
Yeah. So she just sits it out, you know. She's the nicest lady
I
ever.
never thought about her. She's waiting for his bus to pick him up first.
Yeah, before
Because
she
she's
gets
kind
back
of
on.
realizes he's slow, you know, whatever.
She's interested in the
He's
story.
telling an amazing story.
Yeah.
And it even showed, like, he was the one that he showed. She's the only one who saw any evidence that this guy is who he
For
says
real,
he is.
yeah.
Because he
She's
shows,
the only one that's seen the Fortune 500 magazine.
right, and it's got him and Lieutenant Dan on the cover of it.
Right.
His eyes are closed, and
I never noticed that. It's
I
crazy.
didn't, you know, now that you said that, I remember the eyes are closed on the magazine.
yeah.
On the Fortune 500.
So she's the only one who knows this dude's legit. So she's
Yeah.
gonna spend the time and listen to his story.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as he finds out that like Jenny actually lives just 5 or 6 blocks,
Yeah,
over
he
there,
just bounces out.
it's like pleasure to meet you, ma'am, and just
Yep.
gets the fuck up.
Hope
and
you
runs.
get your bus whenever it comes back around. Thanks
Right.
for waiting on me this whole time.
Yeah.
He
And,
just fucking bones out on
Though
it.
maybe one time we see Forrest be a little rude.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
time. But
He's
I
not-
mean, he was trying to get.
He's
to
not
Jenny.
trying to be rude.
Yeah.
He's worried about doing his thing, you know.
Nice suit. Those shoes are fucked up.
I know.
Yeah. But it is a nice looking suit, though. For
He
A
he
more
has
casual
not taken
looking
those shoes off for at least 3 years,
2
2
months,
months, 14
2 days, and
days.
16
he like
hours.
wears them in the
Yeah.
shower and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty fucked up.
Yeah. He finally meets Jenny, and she's got this little apartment, and she has a scrapbook where she has the pictures of his little run across the U.S. and all this shit.
Been
And
keeping up with him.
this lady comes and drops off a kid, and so we can find out the kid's name is Forrest.
The I smell dead people kid.
Yeah, I smell dead people.
A very young Haley Joel
Haley
Osment.
Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is pre
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which we'll actually be talking about later this year.
Sweet.
Yep. But yeah, so
His name's Forrest.
his name's Forrest.
Named him after his daddy.
Forrest is confused.
He's got a daddy named Forrest too.
Yeah, where's all these
Yeah.
Forrests coming from? I'm
She's like,
Forrest.
"You're his
There's
daddy."
another Forrest. Oh,
She's just
And
like
he's like-
finding names in the phone book. He's
Yeah.
like nailing all these dudes. You know?
He's taken back by it though.
Yeah.
Not
He's
ready.
shook.
He don't understand.
Yeah.
He thinks he's done something wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's auto takes a step back. Yeah.
He is shook. The only time in the movie you really see that dude just like broke.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I wrote down get a DNA test.
Yeah.
Jenny's got a lot of stuff going on. I ain't passing any accusations, but I would get a test done if I were you. I'm just gonna say, you know. But
It's kind of convenient to tell him about it now.
yeah,
Like this kid's like 3, going on 4, maybe even already 4. And
You know
now
that-
you're gonna tell Forrest
Well-
that he's a dad after he's been running all this time, and you know he's a gazillionaire.
No,
Right.
he was a gazillionaire before she did.
I think she only
The
did it
last
because
time.
she's sick.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, the only reason why she sent him a letter and told him where he was is because she's found out she was sick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she may have never
Told
hit
Forrest.
Forrest back up
I think so too.
because he was loaded. He was already loaded whenever they banged.
Okay.
We get to where Forrest asks, he's like, is he?
Because how
Like
how
me?
else could you take off? How else could you run for 3 years? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, he said he ate
You
when he
gotta
got
be rich.
hungry.
You gotta
yeah.
have some money. Somebody taking care of something
Yeah.
for you.
I mean, I guess there's people that go coast to coast and they ain't got shit, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he already had money at that
He had
point.
money at that point. He was already cutting the grass.
He asks if his son is like him, which is actually a really crazy scene.
Yeah.
Good grief, guys. Is there like a little infection passing through the living room here?
I
No,
ran out of drink.
It happens. He asks if he's like him, and I found it interesting because this is the first that you see where Forrest is actually perceptive that he's like slower. you
Yeah,
know,
he knows
than
he's.
people. Yeah.
He knows at this point that he
Right.
is.
And he's basically been balling up this whole time. Hasn't really phased him, but he really doesn't want his kid to be slow
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it's great.
She says he's one of the
Smartest
smartest
kids in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find out that Jenny has AIDS, which they never say.
She has a virus
does.
that they don't know what to do with.
I'm
Which-
guessing it's the.
Which to me is weird how they time this out. Like this to me this means that she banged Forrest,
Right.
was pregnant for 9 months, had the child, and then continued to either A, shoot up drugs with weird people,
Or whore around.
or B, whore around after she had the child.
Either that.
Because if it was the other way around, in the 80s when this shit came out, or the time they're portraying,
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, on her headstone it says 1982 is when she died.
Oh, okay.
So, the
So we know it's
kid,
been
the
3
kid would
years.
either be sick too. Forrest would have gotten
Get
sick.
infected. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So she's
You know
either
where I'm going
infecting
with
it? I do.
somebody.
Like after the kid's born, she had to have.
There's some fan theories out there that talk about how she is sick and the kid and Forrest aren't sick. I don't remember what they said, but there was a bunch of different theories.
She
out
had to like kept on fucking around
Yeah, I
after
think.
the fact.
And that's
Like,
what I
had
always
the kid
thought.
had a baby.
Is either she infected Forrest, or she has a kid that probably has HIV, or she's been out doing the same old thing,
Or-
even though she's
After
got
the
a kid at
was
home.
born.
Or
Yeah.
she gave birth to a child and in the hospital needed to receive a blood transfusion that had not yet been tested. You guys think that sounds crazy? I know a young lady who lost both of her parents because of that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Her dad had pneumonia. He got tainted blood. Gave it to his wife. Didn't know he had it. Gave it to his wife. They both passed, and now she's like super rich. Cause
Wow, that's a good soft sell too. Tainted blood. I like that. Instead of tainted love.
in
I'm just gonna.
Heyo.
I'm just gonna go with. She was still fucking shooting up, and whoring around after the baby.
well, I mean that's all she's proved to us that she
was
does.
capable of.
Yeah.
I don't think she straightened up to be mom immediately
Right.
after she.
There's a.
You know what I mean? I
and
think she
that-
was still out partying and shit.
Right. And that's kind of the thing that I think kind of seals the fate of Jenny in my book, is that she is, in my opinion, like a despicable person because she basically leads this dude around for years, their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she has AIDS and she's dying and he's rich, she's like, oh, let me hit this dude up, you know?
Will you marry me?
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
It's crap, you know.
I mean, that's
punk
just
crap.
that's the old love.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the
Right.
moral compass of this part of the movie. It's
Mhm.
like, no matter what, even if you got AIDS
That
and are dying,
unconditional love thing.
I don't care. I'm still gonna fucking.
You're my girl.
Right.
I'll marry you today.
So we cut back to Alabama.
Yeah, she wants to get married,
Yep.
and so
They moved to Alabama.
yeah.
Yeah. He moves to Alabama. He said he'll take care of her. They move down there. They're at the wedding, and Lieutenant Dan comes strolling up.
Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, with his space legs.
Magic legs.
Yeah, he's got.
Titanium.
Yeah.
Stuff they use on space shuttle.
Yeah. Well, he says, Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs. And he's like, titanium. He hits him with his cane.
Titanium
Titanium
alloy.
alloy.
Yeah.
Ding,
he's
ding,
like-
ding.
And he said, same stuff they use on space shuttle. Magic legs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good
And
stuff.
you know, and he introduces his fiance, and Forrest is even surprised, and I think it's because of the Vietnam War.
I think so too.
Oh,
He's like, this is my fiance Susan. Well, she's obviously like,
Asian.
she's
Yeah.
an American-born Asian, probably.
Yeah, but she's definitely
Because when she talks to him, there's no accent there.
no.
But he's like, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. Like he's concerned. Like we used to hunt down Charlie, Lieutenant Dan. He used to call
that
these
man
people,
Charlie, yeah.
What are you doing? Like he sounds concerned a little bit with that second Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when Lieutenant Dan meets Jenny, like Forrest almost like blushes a little bit, like because Lieutenant Dan knows about Jenny.
Yeah.
There ain't no
yeah.
way they spent time out on a boat named Jenny.
Right.
And he doesn't know everything you need to know about
Yeah.
Jenny.
He probably thought Jenny was made up for a while, you know?
Yeah, you might.
He might have. But Forrest has this look like, see, she's here.
Yeah,
We're getting
she
married.
exists, yeah.
So,
They get married,
yep.
and then Jenny dies on a Saturday.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
He puts her under that tree that they used to hang from whenever they were children.
Yeah.
He calls it their tree.
Yeah. And he tells her all about how he's taking care of the Forrest Jr. And it's actually, in my opinion, so there's a lot of stuff in here that, like, it's Tom Hanks, putting on this, slow person facade or whatever. But this is a genuinely great scene of acting, in my opinion. He does great in this scene, where he's talking about the kid. One thing I thought about was how he's teaching him to read, which is kind of a callback to the start of the movie where he talks about how Jenny taught him how to read. And so, like, basically, he's, like, still imparting knowledge that's passed down from Jenny onto Forrest Jr., So that's kind of nice.
He breaks when he talks about how smart the kid is.
Yeah.
You can tell it really touches him that his child's not slow like him.
Right. And, so, what is it? After that, he goes to leave the grave, and all of a sudden this flock of birds just flies out of nowhere. And I think that kind of, like, hit him right in the feels, because that was almost like Jenny heard what he had to say,
And she's flying away.
Right.
Away from all her pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he's at the bus stop with Forrest Jr.
Third
First
major loss for us right here. Third and final loss.
Yeah, that's it. Now he has a new
child to take
right.
care of, something
Something new to cleave to.
occupy.
Yeah.
Well, he opens up the Curious George book.
Curious George book, which is from the beginning
Feather
of the
falls
movie.
out. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
toting that Curious George book.
Yeah. For a
Why
while.
was he toting that Curious George book?
I assume it's because it was one of his favorites, he says.
Yeah, but
Why would Forrest have it on him going to Jenny's
right.
to be able to slide the feather in?
And it's almost like, because watching it back after I've already seen it, you're like, oh, he's putting that feather in that book for his kid, but he doesn't know
But
he has a
doesn't know
kid.
he's
No,
got
he
a kid.
doesn't.
He doesn't know Jenny's got a kid. I mean,
He doesn't know
yeah, I
what's
get
going
it. You're
on.
slow.
Yeah.
You're carrying. That's your favorite book. So, but do you really carry that?
I mean, I have a favorite book, but I don't carry it everywhere, know?
You're not Forrest Gump.
Well, I mean, even
yeah.
at that point, you gotta. You realize you're not
The only thing I could think
the
of is
sharpest tool. in
maybe
the
when
shed.
they were
You
kids.
don't carry Curious George book with you
Yeah.
everywhere you go.
I
But
was
yeah,
thinking-
the feather comes back out.
Right. I was thinking maybe when they were kids, like that's one of the books they used to read together.
Yeah.
So he was bringing it with them for posterity, whatever.
Maybe.
Anyways, little Forrest goes up to the bus. The bus driver says, "You know this is a school bus, right?" Because she knows
She
that.
thinks he's slow.
Yeah, she knows that's Forrest's
Right.
kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Your name is this, and my name is Forrest Gump, and
Yeah.
we're going to. And now we're not strangers, or something." To the
Yeah.
effect.
And same bus driver.
Same bus driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
30 years later, she's chewing gum now. She quit
She
smoking.
did quit smoking.
Yep.
But Forrest's mom died of cancer. Never smoked. Bus driver, smoking on the bus with kids, still driving buses 30 years later.
Right. The doctor.
Doctor, eating cheeseburgers every day, 500 pounds. Smoking cigarettes like none other.
Mom dies of cancer.
Mom dies of cancer.
The cancer, too.
It wasn't even like,
I got the cancer.
I got the cancer.
I got the cancer.
So then the feather from the opening scene floats away. Roll
Yep.
credits.
That's it. A little bookend. You? So that's Forrest Gump. Do I have to ask your opinion, fellas?
It's only one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to be biased either way. Watching it back on, like, Blu-ray, 1080p or whatever, 4K, whatever it's throwing out there, the CGI was kind of janky, I guess.
Well, I think the only part that's a little
It was
janky
the first
is the
movie.
president's mouth
Yeah,
movement.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
John
whoa.
Lennon had a little bit of that going on
Yeah,
too.
JFK's was the worst to me. Like, they were trying to,
Yeah.
I guess he had bigger teeth, so they were trying to put somebody in there with some
emphasize
bigger
it.
teeth to
It's better than Look Who's
make
Talking,
it look
I guess.
right. Yeah,
So,
for sure. For sure. But yeah, other than that, man,
Like,
it's
what was
got
I
a
thinking?
lot
Baby
of life
Geniuses.
lessons.
But, yeah.
A lot of life lessons in this. You know. My kids love it.
Yeah.
Well, and even your boy like snuck in here and started watching it with us. There's so much cultural dialogue and like U.S. history kind of packed into this movie, and it's through the journey of Forrest Gump that we see all these things,
Right.
and we get to see it from such a naive point of view, which is if more people were like that, like we wouldn't have a lot of the same issues.
Well, I think it's like it doesn't matter what your background is or necessarily how smart you are. You can still succeed in this world as long as you're always doing right by other people.
Yeah. Trying to do the right thing and not hurt people.
Yeah.
You know.
He never
Be
judged.
alright.
The only time
He
he's-
didn't even want to lie about the goddamn ping pong paddle.
Right.
You know what I
Mom
mean?
said it
But
would be okay.
It'll
Yeah.
be all right because it's a little white lie. And Mom said it'd be all right. Like, he didn't even want to be like he just wants to do right. You know?
Yeah. The only time you see him like afflict any harm in this movie is the 3 boyfriends he beats up.
Yeah.
And two of those times, well, he is actually defending Jenny.
Yeah.
Like one time the guy smacks Jenny, he's defending her. The other time the guys are all like trying to grope her on the stage.
Yeah,
he's
throw
defending-
drinks.
The first time he thinks that he's defending her because
Yeah.
he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
in
the
car.
first time was an honest mistake,
Right.
but the rest were he was definitely defending her. So,
And then
yeah, he doesn't have a harmful bone in his body.
Unless you taste like cigarettes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
then get the fuck off me. But to be fair, she was like sexually assaulting him.
she was.
He
She
didn't
was all
ask
up
for
in his
that.
shit.
Right.
And his heart was with her, like with Jenny. Like, he's not looking. He ain't looking for.
You hear that,
long
ladies? Don't assume men want to have sex.
limbs. He's not looking for long limbs, Lenore. He wants Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm in agreement with Jason. It's a fantastic movie, man. I love watching it every time I watch it.
I like this movie. However, I do have a bone to pick because this movie and Pulp Fiction went head to head at the Oscars, and this one won out. And I'm like, no, absolutely not.
But you can take your
Yeah.
kids to see this.
You could.
You can't take
This
your
is
kids
a
But is it
family
the better
film.
movie though?
You know, that one, I didn't even say anything about that. I didn't get into any Tarantino
Yeah.
talk. I like Tarantino and every one of his movies. I could definitely put Pulp Fiction as like 4 or 5, number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But no, I
So this was
definitely
better
think
in
I
your
definitely
opinion?
think Forrest Gump was a better
Yeah.
told movie, and it was for the American family.
It's definitely more family oriented. So yeah.
It's a great movie.
It is. It is. If you haven't seen Forrest Gump, I mean, everybody's seen Forrest Gump.
Had to
Like, go watch
at
it.
this point
Yeah.
in time.
What the hell's the matter with you? What are you doing right now? You need to
That's
rethink
one
your
thing
life.
that, like, and I know it's something that my kids will show it to their kids
Yeah.
in fucking another 20 years, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know it'll be something that goes on like that.
Right.
And I'm glad of it because it does have a lot of good life lessons in it. Good,
Oh, yeah.
Good moral to the story.
Most definitely. But I think that is where our Forrest Gump conclusion draws to a close. Mike, next week, my friend, we're getting back on the bandwagon.
So this is gonna be our first time since our initial
First episode,
where
yeah.
we talked about Titanic. We're actually talking about a movie that was number one exactly 20 years ago.
Yeah, the whole layout of the show. We're finally getting back to it. Yeah.
Right. So what are we watching?
We're watching Lost in Space.
How many weeks was it number one?
I've already looked it up.
You have to tune in next week.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Oh
you'll
yeah,
have to
no,
check it out.
I'm gonna have to Google that. I mean, I want to
Yeah.
know how many weeks, because surely you're not gonna have to skip a week after to get
This
to
thing
the
was
next
like 60
number.
weeks in a row. man.
No way. This was number one.
It'll be
for that
2000
one initial weekend,
Right.
and then the very next week you're gonna have to do something else.
It'll be 2019 before we
You're
get
not,
back into
you're
it.
not gonna have to be digging in the crates to figure out
Right.
what movie to watch,
See,
because there's gonna be another number one immediately after this Lost in
There's
Space.
no way Lost in Space could last very long.
It's gotta be the worst movie ever.
I wouldn't say ever, but it's up there.
Have you watched Star Trek 5?
I watched 6 because it was on Stars the other day.
6 is a good movie.
My son come in here and he was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "It's Star Trek 6. I figured I'd give it a try. If nothing else, I'll take a nap." He come back like 45 minutes later. He was like, "Hey, I guess you took a nap." I passed out and fell asleep watching it.
I love Star Trek 6.
Man, they're-
y'all suck.
We're not talking about Star Trek, Shane.
No, we're not.
Shatner's just a bad actor.
Although they did get lost in space, so I guess that kind of ties in a little bit a couple times.
All right, it's time to wrap this podcast up.
Damn it.
But yeah, that has William Hurt, Gary Oldman, Mimi Rogers, Heather Graham, a bunch of people in it. So if you care at all about Lost in Space, feel free to join us for that. You can
Thanks
check
for
us out.
having me on, guys.
Bro.
Anything else? Fucking.
I had a lot of fun having you.
I like
so
talking about movies.
We'll have to do it again.
We're almost
sooner
at the
than
full
later.
runtime of the movie.
Almost. If you want, check us out on social media, Casino Royale with Cheese, not one word. On Facebook, it is all one word. On YouTube, except it's Casino Royale W Cheese. Casino Royale W Ch on Twitter. You can email us at cheesymovie@yahoo.com. And I think that's it for me.
I just want to say, hey, end of the 10th episode, how awesome is it? We're sitting with one of the guys that I know has listened to every episode we drop.
Yeah.
If it's not dropped on Wednesday morning or Tuesday morning, he wants to know why.
Yeah.
So I think it's so cool that
I
even-
waited until noon last week. I think it got up there about noon.
I put it up really late last week, actually.
Yeah, you did.
But like I made it just before midnight.
Yeah, it was like
Is that what it
11:30.
Yeah, but I just want to say, even if it's only 6 of you out there listening, the fact that you guys are spending the time listening, I think it's awesome.
I agree.
I appreciate it. If you do enjoy the show, spread it, share it. When you see it pop up on your Facebook and stuff, share it, man. Let's get it out there. It doesn't cost a dime, so let's do it.
If you do want to be a guest on the show, I'll say this: listening to the show isn't gonna hurt at all. So you know, but I don't know. This is this probably won't be a regular thing, but I'm glad we did this time because I had a lot of fun talking about it. So
Sure.
yeah, that's gonna be it for me.
Later.
Bye, Jason.
Oh shit. Bye.
Bye.
I'll be back.